Bradykin and TheSkeeJay, and aReNGee will be coming a little bit later. So, I mean, I guess if you're here, you probably know who I am. So, SkeeJay, you want to give your quick, like, 10-minute spiel?
10
Not 10
minutes.
minutes. 10. I meant to say 2 sentence, but 10-minute came
I
out.
was planning out how I was going to introduce myself, and you gave me way too much time. Uh, I am the SkeeJay. I am a former streamer, still playing, still active in the community, and yeah.
And Bradykin?
Okay, it's my turn. Okay, so I'm Bradykin. I've been a member of the community for almost since it began. I have been on and off tournament player, on and off brewer of bad primal decks, on and off production and caster for the ETS. Currently, I am holding up the review by trying to finish a game of Temporal, and yeah, that's all you need to know about me.
All right, so without further ado, let's jump right in. So the very first card on the list is a big theme of this set, and that is 0-cost spells. Meltdown, kill an enemy attachment for 0. I think this sees no play because Boar exists, but once Boar gets nerfed, then there's a chance.
I think it's not outside the realm of possibility. It could be in the market alongside Boar. I mean, people talk a lot about how they wish they could have 2 Boars, and sometimes they're actually being serious about that. So I think in certain scenarios that could happen, but it will never be played instead of Boar.
Yeah, it's definitely an upgrade over decks that would ordinarily run Ruin, but I don't think no one's gonna put this card in their market at all.
Bad rally, nothing to see here. Let's see. So Urn of Choking Embers. Oh, and by the way, if I skip over a card that you guys think is good that you want to talk about, like, just holler at me.
Yeah, yell at us in chat.
So Urn of Choking Embers. This is the anti-Haunted Highway market card to end all anti-highway market cards, right? It's like stop, scream, and charge completely, and then also if you're an aggro deck, it makes it so people can't block you. This card just seems crazy.
Yeah, it's the Yushkov that doesn't die to Madness Combust. It's gonna serve it's gonna serve a similar purpose to Sandstorm Scarf because a 1-costed relic you can fetch out of the market to just hose X deck, and sometimes it'll be Hero Flyers for Scarf, and this time you just have it as an option to deal with Highway.
Yeah, I would also add that it's not just against Highway. It can be really good at stopping mid-range decks from blocking other mid-range decks. So I could see this actually seeing a decent amount of play. Now, fire markets are generally more packed than time markets, so it's harder to fit in. But I also think this is more powerful than the Sandstorm Scarf you were just comparing it to. I think it's more widely applicable.
All right, what about Urn of Choking Embers versus Infinite Hourglass? Which is more embarrassing to play turn 1 and just discard a card?
Hourglass.
I don't know if you can rate which one is more embarrassing than the other. I think you're just collectively embarrassed.
We got a couple of quick questions in chat. Argon Talonic wants us to wants us to read a card when we get to it. I guess sometimes he won't be able to get a visual.
Oh,
and
sure.
And Zarbit asks about Boar. Is Boar main deckable? If you're running multiple merchants, then definitely not, because then, if you're running a black market, you can't have Boar in both your main deck and your market. So it's even less main deckable now than it was before.
I think it was main deckable before, and I think it's kind of not now.
Yeah, if you're trying to play 6 to 8 merchants, then you obviously can't have it in your main deck and your market. It just doesn't work. Before, I think it was fine to actually have one in the main deck. I've done it before. Now I don't think it works as well.
All right, I like this card a lot. Conflagrate, 2 power, 2F fast spell, deal 3 to a unit, amplify 5, deal 3 to an additional unit. This is the 2 power torch that we've always wanted.
I had missed this card. I had not seen it. I think this is going to be one of those cards that, it doesn't see play because Torch exists. I think this is going to be an excellent, highly picked draft card, but that's not our topic.
Right. Well then, Firemane Lioness. I'm not even going to read it since no one should ever play this card. Okay, it is a 2F2/2 with Amplify 2, play a 1/1 Wildcat with Charge. And this with Obelisk is completely unreasonable, and if I play against that too much, I'm going to become a draft-only player. God,
yeah, fuck
Praxis Obelisk.
I think there's no way that this card doesn't become a staple in whatever Praxis token deck pops up.
Wait, we can't call it Praxis tokens anymore. Token is now a card. Tokens are those like depleted.
Okay. Practice Obelisk, Practice Rally.
All right,
Praxis, Grenadin.
We have to break the Praxis decks up. So there's like the go wide Praxis deck with Obelisk. There's the mid range Praxis deck like with Heart of the Vault and like I don't know, like Z Initiation, Dawnwalker, whatever. And then there's the jumbo Praxis deck with Great Kiln Titan and stuff like big fat Praxis. So the nomenclature I would suggest is for the go wide Obelisk deck is Praxis Small Boys, and then the mid range Praxis deck can be thick Praxis, and then the one that goes all the way to the top with Great Kiln Titan can be swole Praxis.
What about for Vault of the Praxis decks, though? What do we call?
We call those bad.
Which makes me feel terrible, given I just lost to one.
Oh, I've lost to crappy decks too.
I mean, I've lost to everything that I've ever called bad multiple times.
Oh, me too. Absolutely. On stream while I'm complaining.
Yeah, if you play enough,
that's how people miss me.
You'll lose to bad stuff. I would probably glance over Notorious Scoundrel, but I think some people are excited about this card, and I don't see it. Anyone care to enlighten me? Like, you play a weapon on it, and it becomes huge.
It's quite funny with, is it called Hidden Pistol? The gunslinger weapon kill things?
Hideout Pistol, yeah.
Yeah.
Hideout Pistol. Yeah, I mean, that's an amusing interaction. I don't think this is worth it. This is the kind of card that when I see it, I'm begging people to play it against me so I can then remove them and draw them.
Yeah, the best Vanquish target of all time, right?
Yeah, exactly. If Vanquish didn't exist, and if Eileen's Choice didn't exist, then this would be more potentially interesting. But I don't see this working in any capacity.
Yeah, speaking of not working in any capacity, I'm pretty sure that Dune Painter, well, it might be busted at some point down the line when you get more Amplify cards, is not playable now. It's a mediocre draft card at best.
Yeah, I mean,
you need to be doing something very specific to make it work. It's one of those It's one of those cards that's an objectively bad card that I think could end up being used in specific circumstances. There need to be some funky combo go.
Yeah. Oh, so and Chad was talking about you can unstable the Notorious Scoundrel, and that's true, but it still gets the wanted poster. Like, yeah, getting a giant guy isn't the problem.
And the weapon.
Giant guy is
the wanted
great.
Poster and the weapon will stay on it.
Yeah, poster is the bad part though, because then a torch most likely or a vanquish, and the opponent just draws 2 cards, and you got like 4 for 1, and you want to quit life.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan. I don't know. I don't see much going on for it.
All right, let's move to page 2. There's some interesting stuff here. Nika the Freescaler. So 3 FFF 3/3 with Pledge. When an enemy spell is played on Nika, she deals 3 to the enemy player, and then you can pay 3 to double her strength this turn.
See, this isn't a bad card. This doesn't feel nearly strong enough to make me want to play mono red, and I think you have to.
I don't think it needs to be in mono red, but I don't think anything needs to be mono anything. Like Witching Hour is played in multiple colors, but I do think this is a really powerful card. I don't know if there's going to be a deck that wants it. I actually kind of think that it might find a home in Vercano or Stone Scar. Personally, it reminds me of a Magic card. It's a lot worse. Obviously, I forget the name of the card. It was a dragon that bolted your opponent when they targeted it.
Thunderbreak Regent.
Yes, I love that card, by the way. But this reminds me a lot like it. Like 3/3 for 3 it's not an unplayable stat line. It doesn't make me automatically say no to it, and it has upside in the fact that you can play it as a power on turn 1 if you need to. It is going to get 3 damage in just about no matter what, and if you ever do get to start activating its double strength, then you can actually deal a whole ton of damage.
Yeah, I guess the combo was like you Shugo Standard it, and then on turn 5, then bash for 14. Or it's like Shugo Standard it when you have 8 power and bash for 28, overwhelm, like some sort of
Seems
combo
doable.
like that. Because like you can pay multiple turns. Like you pay 6, or her strength is effectively quadrupled.
Yeah, so I do think it's a powerful card. Nothing in the game right now or in the set that I've seen strikes me as like it's gonna make this card super playable. Like I don't see a deck that's gonna be able to morph around it, but I think it's a powerful ability that is worth keeping an eye on for future sets.
I don't personally think this is going to go anywhere in now or the future without some massive, massive changes that we couldn't have predicted.
Groundbreaker syndrome.
I don't think it's realistically always getting in that damage because it gets hailstormed, along with whatever you played the turn before in all likelihood. I don't know. I'm rating this card pretty lowly personally. I don't think it's that powerful. I think you have to warp your deck a lot to play it, and I don't think it's powerful enough to be worth that. Like, I don't know if this would see play if it was double red. I'm not convinced that it would be for sure.
That's a strong condemnation. That's the kind of hot takes we're here for. All right, now here's one that I actually like a lot. Phoenix Stone. It's a 3-power relic with pay 2 to transform Phoenix Stone into a 4/4 Molten Phoenix. And Molten Phoenix is a 4/4 flying charge that at end of your turn, it transforms back into Phoenix Stone. So basically, you can pay 2 to get a 4/4 flying charge that turns back to a relic. So it's just a anti-harsh rule card. For example, Bradykin's beloved Temporal is never beating this, right?
No, sure I'm beating this.
Desert Marshal deals with it quite nicely.
Yeah, I can Desert Marshal it. I can put something together. Okay, this card I love on a design level. I'm not convinced it's powerful, but I'm not convinced it's not powerful. But the design is so elegant, and also just you have to appreciate that art for a moment. The art is fantastic, both of the stone and of the phoenix on the other side.
I don't even see.
I wish we could get like full, like big picture of the tokens that cards make.
Can't call it a token anymore, Ace.
Oh, geez, what created units? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't see the power level with this. It's too expensive. It's too power intensive. Like I agree that against like maybe you play it in the market as like your control hoser of choice, in like your fire aggro or fire mid range deck. But I don't know, to have to pay 2 every turn just to have a unit is
Do you think it's too expensive?
I like Flamestoker to accomplish a very similar thing.
There's definitely an argument that Flamestoker would be played instead of this. There could be a deck that wants to fill up on that style of effect that would run both. I think this is less aggro fighting control and more control decks fighting each other that would be looking at this kind of effect, especially if those control decks struggle to kill sight.
That's true.
Because this kills almost every site in the game. Now, now that you've said it, I think you're right that you don't start using this until you've already gotten Flamestoker.
Yeah, maybe it's just bad Flamestoker. All right, I mean you've convinced me. I'm not excited anymore. Way to kill the hype.
Even if it doesn't have the power level though, even without the power level though, I must commend the design, and I must once again commend the artist on this card specifically. The art in set 5 as a whole is pretty good, but this card is just a special kind of awesome.
Yeah, I agree. The design is great. All right. Yeah, any kind of flavorful design is a lot of fun.
Here's another cool card that I think isn't quite good enough. Bladerang. So it's 4 FFFF. Yes, quad fire for a 1/3 relic weapon, but it has double damage. So double damage on relic weapons means that all of your spells have double damage. So you get 6 damage Torch, 12 damage Obliterates, 20 damage, what's the name of that? Decimates. It's a meme, but I think it's a good meme.
There is probably a janky combo deck that will do that. You don't put this in your deck unless you're doing something degenerate though. Like you're not gonna play this over Jawbone Greatsword or a Grunehammer or anything along those lines.
Yeah, it's a
you
meme,
play this to make your Hailstorm stronger, obviously.
Oh my god. Make your aerial battles deal 10.
I see Skycrag control hype. That's what I see.
Alright, are you playing Torrential Downpour and Lightning Storm in this deck too?
I mean, Lightning Storm, maybe. Torrential Downpour, I'm not that desperate.
Oh, this plus Yeti Warchief, all your spells deal like double +4.
Cliff wants to know if there's a way to break Kindle in the set. Yeah, the way to break Kindle in the set is Bladerang plus Flame Blast.
Oh god. Oh, good lord.
I'm looking forward to the Bladerang memes though. I think this is a good meme card.
Oh, absolutely.
I agree. I also need to pull us back to a card we skipped for a moment to go to the Shiftstone Processor, if we could.
Okay, would you like to read it for us?
Sure. It is a 3-mana relic. When a unit goes to your void, you get +1 power this turn. So, This is just an objectively a bad card. I'm calling it now, though. Some moronic damn combo is being made off of this. It's going to have something to do with Westwind Heralds, mirror images, and sacrificing themselves to max board size.
Infinite
Something dumb is
processor
happening.
combo.
And now that I'm thinking about this, you could probably generate a combo that instead of wins, gridlocks the board state and makes it so no one can act. That's probably doable.
And that's the thing you're interested in,
you
right?
As a community, do not solve that puzzle. Leave that unsolved.
That's when it goes to your void from anywhere. Oh god.
Yeah, so you can like quarry and get a power. Or like,
I had not even
Sporefolk
noticed
as a
that.
ritual?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wait a minute. The Empower guy that mills, can it mill you?
No, it mills opponents.
Damn. Okay, so what you need to do, you need to somehow gift your opponent control of that creature.
This is
And
no.
then-
This
Then
can be.
make them play lands. we're gonna solve this.
It's the Wincon to Talir combo where you just generate infinite flame blast.
Oh man.
Anyways, I just wanted to bring us back
Everything is
here.
going to revolve around flame
this,
blast.
because this is Scattershot Yeti. It's objectively terrible, but it's going to combo something.
Yeah, there's another bad ritual on this page. In the bottom right, there is Ruckus Rouser. There's a 4-cost 2/2 Oni. With Renown, you get power this turn equal to double the cost of that spell or weapon. So like if you play
It's a lot less breakable.
if you play like a 4-cost weapon or whatever, you get like you net 4 power. Or if you like augmented form this, you net 6 power. That's the worst ritual on the page. Come on.
No, you've got Ruckus Rouser wrong. You see, what you do is you channel the Tempest it. Then you have 18 mana.
Oh my god! The
See,
Channel
this is what
Tempest
you
change
want.
was a buff!
I just double checked. Channel the Tempest can hit your stuff. And everyone who's played it before knows that because you've channeled the Tempest yourself before. But
So what
like,
do you do with your 18 power
I
after you
am-
channel your Ruckus Rouser?
yeah, Ruckus Rouser is the other card here that I'm convinced is another objectively terrible card that will fuel a combo by giving you such a hilarious burst of power.
Oh my god, can you imagine decimating your Ruckus Rouser to give you the power to cast 2 more decimates? Alright,
No more rituals.
Anyways.
Direwolf, Scarletch, if you're watching, no more rituals. Don't let them dead.
Well, there's a bunch of cards I haven't seen on this page.
Well, you
Are
would
we
get
on
a,
page
you would
3 now?
get a
Yeah.
new renown ski bum gym. So like you would use the renown on the first one and then get a new one that doesn't have renown triggered yet.
Alright, so the card that immediately sticks out here is Siegebreaker. There's 4 FF for a 6/5 elemental with Overwhelm. Summon, kill an enemy relic. Entomb, the enemy player draws a relic of their choice from their deck. So this is like the Fire Titan. It's just like an enormous Overwhelm dude for 4. However, if they do not have a relic when you cast it, it does have downside, because then if they like annihilate it or vanquish it or whatever, they can draw a cookbook, for example, from their deck and get a 2-for-1 on you. But if they have a relic in play already, then it's just like kind of polymorphing that relic and you get plus tempo in addition to maybe downgrading it.
There's a lot of stats.
Yeah. I'm less hype on this card than most people are. The more I've watched people talk about it, the more I'm convinced that it could work. But I think it's less powerful than the community is currently interpreting it to be. I think the downside of you play it, they don't have a relic, they vanquish it, you drew them a card, is going to happen way too often.
Yeah, I think this is probably not a 4-of main every fire deck. Like, this is not the Fire Darude. But I think if relics
No,
are
I think
popular,
this-
like they are now, this card is definitely playable as like a 2-of.
Possibly, but like, I struggle to find a place where those stats are like worth the downside of not running. What's the 4/3 for 4? You know, that old.
Furnace Mage, yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like this in a lot of scenarios is going to be Furnace Mage with downside.
6/5 Overwhelm is a lot
Well,
bigger
I mean-
than 4/3.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
Torch
I don't
is a
play
real
creatures,
thing.
so I don't appreciate the value of their size. So
Rest assured
And, like-
that units have sizes and they matter.
see,
Yeah.
I don't see it that way. I'll take your word for it.
I mostly just look at it as a pile of stats, and like 6/5 for 4 is huge. I guess the real question is, would you play like if given the choice, would you play this over Groundbreaker. Like let's say Groundbreaker costs double fire instead of triple. Like I think I'd rather just play Groundbreaker, right?
Well, I mean, here's
I
a real
agree.
comparison: Crimson Firemaw.
Sure, that too.
Yeah,
like-
like I think
so-
Firemaw is
so
probably
it is
better
a-
if you're like a mid-range fire deck looking to beat down with your 4-drop.
So like this is a big ball of stats, but I think it's a lot less impressive than like things we already have that aren't even seeing play.
Yeah, I'm not a huge believer in this card, but I think that there are metas where it's good. Basically, I'm less high on it than the general populace.
For this card to work, I think the relic decks need to be fairly uninteractive. So either they're not guaranteed to vanquish it, or they're not guaranteed to have a relic to draw with it. I feel like without that, this card is going to flop too many times. So my vote on it is going to be that it's going to see a little bit of play, and then it's going to get cut very quickly as it keeps screwing you.
Yeah, you need all the decks to have a lot of relics or no relics. And that's kind of like all the decks play a couple relics.
It's not even a random relic they draw. It's a relic of their choice. You can get messed up really hard by.
Yeah,
For sure.
they can go get their obelisk or their cookbook or
Their
their relic
chains.
weapon, like their what's the name of that card? Their Bladerang.
Oh, I was thinking Martyr's Chains, but Bladerang is funnier, so let's go with that. All right. So Spitfire, notable because it's called Spitfire, like drop a fat beat. Anyways. All right, Phoenix Hammer. This was a card that was spoiled earlier. It's a 6 FF relic weapon. It's a 4/2 with Amplify 2 plus 1 strength. And when you play your third spell on a turn, draw it from your void. I think this card is way too slow, and like if you're paying 8 or 10 or whatever to get a big one, and then playing 3 spells to get it back, like the game's just never gonna last that long. But
This card, it's awful.
You think it's just awful?
like,
just skip it.
it's
Not even
awful.
worth talking about.
Well, like I do want to talk about it because people like when it was first spoiled, people were trying to figure out how to break Discord, but ultimately you're paying 8 power for a literal worse Jawbone Greatsword.
See, here's what you guys are missing. You're saying it's too expensive, which is objectively true. But when you put it into context where its cost is irrelevant, this is a recurable weapon. Constantly.
It doesn't play from
and
your
when
void.
you are like me,
you draw it from your void. You still have to cast it again.
but like I said, the cost is irrelevant in this scenario. And believe me, you can do that.
The cost is relevant.
See, but you just build a context where it's irrelevant.
Yeah.
That's the whole idea.
So you're
behind
playing
Ruthless
this in
Control.
place of Sword of the Sky King in some super dirtily control deck.
Basically, yeah. I see this as a card that could replace Sword of the Sky King in certain contexts. In those contexts are probably a 4-color control deck with Visages.
So Eric9099, who just got second place in the World Championship with Armory-esque deck, says this card is bad. I'm inclined to believe the card is bad.
Okay, all I'm going to say is this is one of the few cards I've crafted so far. I will be running a one of Phoenix Hammer,
This all makes
and
sense
I
now.
will be making it work.
It all makes perfect sense now.
I love
you need
it.
it to be
I love
good.
it.
I mean, SkeeJay, you saw my Phoenix Hammer rant in SVG chat. You saw. I'm not joking here. I will use it as a win con. It is really, really hard to stop in a deck designed to dirtle and then win with a Phoenix Hammer.
All right. So what do we think of this cycle? I'm on the first one now. Shingane Captain. So it's 6 FF for a 5/5, and there's a cycle of these in all 5 factions with the like 6 color 5/5 that gives your other units of that faction +1/+1 and has a skill. In this case, it's charge. So it's a 5/5 for 6 with charge, and your fire units have +1/+1. I think that it's not quite there yet, but this is a push towards Mono Faction. If we get like 1 or 2 more good Mono Faction pushes, like quad influence cards that are good, for instance, I could see Mono Faction being a thing and playing these.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
feel
this
like
card isn't unreasonable. This card is okay. It doesn't necessarily need to be mono faction you played, and you could be playing red and splashing something else. It doesn't punish you for splashing if you're splashing for gold.
That's true. Yeah, you don't even need to be mono.
It does compete on the curve with a lot of other really good 6-drops in Fire X decks. Heart of the Vault, Rizan, Kaifis in some cases. So I think it's underpowered for playability like right now. It's interesting because like there's so many like Grenadin payoffs. Like this just acts kind of like an obelisk for your Grenadins, but you're not going to play this in Grenadins because you already have Scrapper and Gear Cruncher and like so many other payoffs already.
Yeah,
That
so
like it doesn't even make the cut there.
Chat mentioning two things I think worth noting. One is an Oni, so it works with Oni Tribal if that ever becomes a thing. And two, it's a worse General Azaleo, which I don't agree with. It has Charge. Charge is much, much, much better than Quick Draw.
I think this is comparable to scenarios where you'd use Soulfire Drake in the past. This could slot in some of those contexts. It's not a perfect comparison. Soulfire Drake had more persistent value. It wasn't based on auring the board, but the value of the curve topping charge unit is hard to ignore. I think this could see some play. I'm not immediately seeing where, and I'm not saying it will for sure, but I could see this having use, especially since if the sites become more popular, there's going to be increased value on charge units that can kill all sites, and this is one.
That's true, yeah.
I do agree with that on sites. Patchy, it buffs all fire units. Like they can be multicolored or monocolored. If they have fire in their influence cost, then they get buffed.
All right, here's a card that I know is good. 7 FFF 6/6 Dragon, Show of the Endless Horde. So
yes,
it's a flyer with Fate, create and draw Treasure Trove, which is a colorless 2-cost spell that draws a card. And then has ultimate when Show attacks. For every 2 that you spend, he deals 1 damage to an enemy, and you draw a Treasure Trove. And you can do this to different things. Like you pay 4, you can ping 2 different things for 1, and you draw 2 more Treasure Troves.
Yeah, I learned the hard way that it's an ultimate and not just an on-attack trigger. Because I planned on doing some really cool things on a turn after I'd already used the ultimate. But besides that, when the card was first spoiled, I was talking to Paradox about it, and he was a lot higher on it than I was. I thought it was going to be a bit too slow, like 6/6 for 6/6 for 7. Just gonna die to Vanquish or Annihilate or Slay the turn you play it. Like you'll get the 1 Treasure Trove, and that's pretty much it. And that is not the case. This card is a freaking house. If they don't kill it, you do win the game.
Yeah, you draw at least 3 cards, 4 if it hits your 8th power drop, and deal 4 divided as you choose, which is not nothing. That'll kill something or deal some frightening amount of damage to face. And then you just have infinite gas forever.
Yeah, there's a lot of power behind this card. Now, you need to be in a specific context to want to use it. You need to be a fiery deck that is using units, which I'd have to clarify for myself, and wants to be playing a late-game value-oriented playstyle. Within those parameters, this is quite powerful because it gives you a card initially when you draw it, and then it is answer or it will basically win the game in that kind of context. There's a lot of power here, but the deck needs to exist that wants it, and there's no guarantee of that. It's one of those cards that I think
does exist. I think this is comparable to old 7-power Ikaria.
Yeah, I don't.
It's an insta 2 for 1, and then if it lives to attack just 1 turn, which is the equivalent of Ikaria getting a second Warcry 5, you just win the game instantly.
Yeah,
there's
I
truth
think
to that, but Ikaria had Aegis, which is a big difference.
Aegis. I think that those parameters aren't even that hard to get. Like the most common fire decks right now are cookbook decks that want to get to the late game and win through a value engine. Or they're playing Yushkov, and this Yushkov ramps quite nicely into this guy. So I think that the parameters for making this card good aren't even that hard, and when they are met, like you said, it is really powerful.
You're gonna see this on 5 a lot.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Like Yushkov into this is gonna be a very common thing. That's like gonna be a tier 1 deck. And then you get the Ikaria's Aegis is comparable to this Fate draw Treasure Trove. Like you're never not replacing this. Like you're gonna at some point in the game have 2 extra power and just like get the cycle and still have this ridiculously threatening dragon in your hand. Or you can trade away in the market. That's another nice thing that you can use the extra card for. This is like a better Jotun Hurler, and Jotun Hurler is a card I was already really high on.
Yeah, so like I've in the deck that I played, at least the one version had one of these main deck, and then mostly I didn't want to craft all 4. But yeah, it's very nice to be able to get out of the market. It's also really nice to put into the market. Like so, if you're not going to get to 7 that game, or like you're stuck or whatever, you put it back in the market. You still got a card out of it. So, yeah.
All right, so moving on to the next page, we're hitting the time cards. Unearth the Past. 0-cost spell, draw a relic from your void. Is this the first card we have that specifically gets a relic? Like, I know we had Lumen Attendant, but that costs a ton to get a relic back.
Disjunction was able to get a relic back. Or no, it's attachment.
That was
Any
just,
attachment.
Yeah, well, relic is a subset of attachment, so yeah, they can like saying that it gets a relic specifically isn't that notable. This card is okay, but I think its use is going to get trumped by disjunction in most cases. I think the versatility of disjunction is going to beat the cheapness of this, unless you're doing some very specific recursion combo. Where
I'm
the
playing this
reduction
in
is
my
very
dumping
important.
ground deck. Let's be real.
Exactly. Yeah, like that's the combo. Or
Okay, well, I
or
still
the-
don't understand what that deck is. We'll get there when we reach
All right,
that.
we'll get there
worry
and I'll
about it.
explain it.
It'll beat your
it's a trick.
temporal deck, I promise.
Okay, notable Arachnodon Egg. I don't think this is quite good enough, but a 1-cost relic that on turn 4 gets you a 4/4 for free is kind of cool. And if the dinosaur was anything other than a striped Arachnodon, like if it was like a Towering Terrazon maybe, I think this card would be lit. But as is, I think it's just a draft card. But it's very cool.
Yeah, I'm not into it.
I think this card's terrible, honestly. I don't think it's the kind of card that's almost strong enough. I think this is best case scenario. You play it, it hatches and hits them once, and then gets harsh ruled.
I'm not even sure. Like you.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean
not even
it's
sure
bad because a dinosaur isn't good enough. But like if there's a future card that hatched a bigger dinosaur, then I'm saying it'd be good.
Then that would be a different, better card.
Yeah. All right. Be Gone with the funny name art combination, but I feel like the next playable card here is well, I put playable in quotations, but Bizarre Trickster is a 2/2 2/3 mage with pay 4 to silence an enemy unit. The art has him doing jazz hands. People are excited about this. I am not excited to put Bold Adventure in my constructed decks. I think this card is terrible.
Well, in SPG chat, I was calling this the boldest adventurer.
It is bolder than Bold Adventure.
It is. I think it is the boldest one. Anyways, I don't think this card is particularly notable. SkeeJay, cover your ears. I think the only context where this is used is as a couple of in Chalice, mostly because Chalice is really trying to shed Temple Scribes, and like this could help. I don't know. I don't think it would end up staying. I don't think this card is very good overall, but I don't think it's terrible. This is another one that I just give a brief draft notable. Reusable Silence in draft is real good.
All right. So next up, and I like this card a lot, Dissociate. 2T fast spell. Negate an enemy spell and put it into the enemy hand. Or put an enemy attachment into the enemy hand, then increase its cost by 3. So this is sort of like a Caleb's Choice, where it can counter a spell or hit an attachment, but it can hit multi-faction once too. It can go in more places because it's not 2-faction, but it doesn't kill the thing, it just bounces it and increases cost by 3. However, I think that bouncing and increasing cost by 3 is crippling enough that this is a useful card that we'll see play in the sort of decks that would play Caleb's Choice.
This card is going to be the bane of my existence. It's going to counter my harsh rolls and hailstorms so often.
Yeah, I actually think like there were some decks that played Hesitate, like some Nightfall decks, like the TPS Nightfall or Elysian Nightfall play Hesitate. I think this kind of replaces Hesitate in those cases. Other than that, I'm not super excited about it in any type of time main deck. As a market card, I think it's fine, but I don't know. I just feel like there's better options.
Oh man, I
can see this as harsh roll protection in time decks that aren't Combri, because Combri would just use standing.
So
right, yeah.
When you're talking about Bizarre Trickster and you called it Boldest Adventurer, somebody called it Baldest Adventurer. That's much better.
Well, that's funny because he's bald.
All right, Resolute Monk. Are you ready for?
Does that count?
Are you ready for a time beatdown? This is a 2T Mystic 3/1 with Empower +2/+2 and Overwhelm this turn. That is a 5/3 Overwhelm hitting you on turn 3. That is a large lad.
This was, in my opinion, the strongest spoiler up until like last night.
It was certainly up there. This card is very powerful. Like, to boil it down to basics, it's a 2-drop that swings for 5 Overwhelm. Like, that's insane.
Yeah, so I was theory crafting a bunch of decks that included this Awakened Student, this Awakened Student, Teacher of Humility, like just in a Combray beatdown deck was nothing. I even got crazy with the Empower theme, where I was trying to figure out if I can get Combray Emissary and Voice of the Speaker in the deck, and just like have infinite power drops and multiple power drops per turn, make this attack as a 7/5 or whatever. And never ended up materializing any of those ideas. But yeah, this card is an absolute beatdown machine.
Yeah. So
I was trying to play this kind of deck earlier today. What's it called? Not the Combray Emissary part, but like I had Spire Chaplains and stuff. There's also a very notable Justice 2-drop that you didn't list there that we will get to.
Yep.
But I think there's a lot of value between in a Combray beatdown list with an Empower theme. I think that's definitely going to be a thing.
Wait, so do you think this is a Combray card and not like a Praxis card?
I think it could also be a Praxis card, but I think the other cards that, incentivize you to play this style are in Combray. So maybe this card is individually better in Praxis, but the theme is in Combray.
I resized SkeeJay because aReNGee came in, but then aReNGee left because he couldn't get his webcam working right away. So we'll fix your size again later. All right. So Resolute Monk, obviously great. Not much else to say there.
Yeah, this card will see play. We'll see a lot of it. Get your torches ready.
Next page, or Vars favors. What do we see here? I'm not excited about Awaken the Ages playing random sigils. Psychalis, the Burning Sand. 4TT 5/2 with Charge, Overwhelm, and Pledge. And summon Psychalis is invulnerable to damage this turn. So
when this card was spoiled, I briefly thought it was the most broken card in the game. Then I remembered we aren't playing Hearthstone and it can't attack a unit. So it went down a little bit in my estimation.
I mean, it's basically like if they have a 2/2, they still take 8 and it trades with the 2/2. Like, that is not an insubstantial amount of damage.
Yeah, when we were at that red 6-drop, I was talking about the value of a big charge creature as the top end in an aggro deck. This is going to fit that style somewhere. This is going to see play like.
Why are they taking 8 through a 2/2?
Well, because you hit them for 5 the first turn, and then they block the next turn and overwhelms for 3.
Over 2 turns. Okay, I thought you thought it had double damage or something.
Yeah, and this goes in the same decks that Resolute Monk goes in. Like, it's just like time, down, overwhelmed guys.
Yeah, I think it's really strong. I don't know. I wasn't super excited about it, but I don't think it's an exciting card, but it is a strong one. It's not flashy.
Yeah, speaking of not flashy but exciting, Eternity Core, 4T Relic, +2 maximum power. This whole card has 6 words on it, but it's very strong.
The premium is beautiful, by the way.
Like, going from 4 straight to 7, like, what costs 7? Like, Show, like, Tayloot, like, you're ramping from the early game right into the late game boom booms that kill your opponent in 2 turns.
Mystic Ascendant plus power is there. Is another very notable one in this color.
Yeah, people were comparing it, rightfully so, to Explosive Vegetation, magic card that lets you search up 2 lands and put them directly into play. And that was a powerful card during certain formats. Like, it was in Standard a few years ago, and it was part of a tier 1 deck that was trying to ramp into 6, 7, 8 drops, and ended up being a very powerful thing. I think that this is also a very powerful card that gets you up to some pretty broken things a lot sooner than your opponent can really do anything.
Hey, aReNGee
if
is
I
here.
Could skip back. Oh, he is? Okay, we'll do that first.
How you doing?
I'm good. I just took like an hour and a half to get home, so I'm going into this totally blind. So where are we at right now?
So we're on the second page of time cards. If you have any good one-line zingers about fire cards, now would be a good time to toss them in.
Did we get a fire meme legendary?
Yes.
You got a good fire legendary?
That doesn't count.
Yeah, there's a card called...
we did get a good meme one. There's Bladerang. 1/3 devil damage relic weapon. Yes.
That sounds... What do you mean meme legendary? This is the best card they've ever printed.
See, this is how we keep our hailstorms relevant in 2019, folks.
There you go. Actually, that sounds really good. Hailstorm Bladerang? Actually, just Bladerang in general. Quad fire? Alright, we've learned from the Mystic Ascendant days. Best card in the set, right here. Right here. Haven't seen the set, aren't aware of the set.
So, moving on to, in the actual time cards, Pompous Historian.
Can I pull us back? Can I pull us back to one card first?
Yes.
So the card Antique Polisher. So I have a couple comments that are real, and then some things to annoy SkeeJay with. So first off, this card I think could absolutely see play. There's a lot of value in like ramping a specific part of your top end down. And I mean, a 4/2 endurance for 3 is not good, but that's not horrible. The difference between 2 and 3 health is not that relevant a lot of the time. And I could absolutely see this seeing play in a deck that's based around a specific relic top end. The part I wanted to annoy SkeeJay with is that this card was 100% a 2/4 in development, and then they realized they couldn't do that because it would break Chalice in half. And I am so sad, and I feel personally like persecuted that they did not make this a 2/4.
This card is literally double Amber Acolyte.
So you polish your chains? Is that the idea?
I mean, yes, you can polish your chains, or you can polish your pit. No, don't.
I fell in
Move
it,
on
the
to the next
pit.
I will
You
note
fell
that
in
this,
it, the pit.
I mean, the Sarlacc pit's pretty sweet, but you can reduce relic weapons, and since relic weapons have like a recursion theme going on, like this in a Molten Fist deck sounds pretty cool. Like you reforge it and then it costs 4 and you just play it on turn 8. I buy it.
Okay.
Hey guys, this
Yeah,
in
that
a
makes
Phoenix
sense.
Hammer deck. Make the Phoenix Hammer free.
Oh, baby.
Make it reasonable.
Yes. You got there.
Yeah, this card seems very good. Also, it has endurance randomly on a 4/2. Like, what is this ever surviving an attack to block?
I
Oh, it
mean,
can't
it
be
attacks
permafrost.
them. They don't want to trade, and then I don't know.
Oh, no,
They
it's 'cause it
threw
can't be
endurance on
permafrost.
more random things because of those like Yushkov effects.
Oh, and it gets buffed by Armadillo.
Ooh, good point in the chat from Jimmy D. Knight. This can put your Molten Fist in banish range.
Yes, it can. But I think that's okay. Just like going this Molten Fist, Throne Warden, you know, something else. Second Molten Fist. I'm excited.
All right.
I hate playing time and armory decks, but you know.
This is a card that I suggest everyone to keep an eye on. It will see play at some point. I'm willing to say that definitively.
Oh, yeah, it's very good. Now,
will
it's gonna
not
see
be
play
in
now.
Chalice because they hate me, but
Bradykin boldly stating that a combo piece will eventually see play given enough time.
All right, here's another card Bradykin
exactly.
will
Yeah,
love.
I'm taking the hard takes here.
It's gonna see play now. All right, Pompous Historian. All right, this is like the second best name in the set. It's a 4TT 3/3 with summon, draw a Sentinel or Relic from the top 5 cards of your deck, discard the rest. So this is a deep dig for Sentinels or Relics, and it mills you so it's like a Time Sporefolk. This is an enabler for a lot of different things.
Yeah, I think this card is very, very strong. Not in love with 3/3s for 4, but when they have a summon ability that lets you dig 5 cards deep for a card you want, they get a pass.
Also, now you
we're
can
gonna
show this
continue
card to
using
all of your friends who are like in the realm of academia or like, know a lot of tidbits about history. Like, you're just a pompous historian.
Yeah, a lot of people's personal avatars are going to be this card. I'm willing to say that. Also, we're continuing to use the Eric Barometer. He likes the card, so I agree. This is a pretty decent card. I'm not quite as high on it as you guys are, just because it's very undersized for its cost. But as long as your deck consistently gets a hit off of it, I think it's very good.
All right,
Yeah,
I think this is time for me to get into this. So this is a key piece in the Dumping Ground deck. So so Dumping Ground, which we'll get to later, is a 4 SS relic with summon. You can sacrifice a unit to give your opponent's units -2/-1. And then pay 10 to play 2 units from your void with flying and charge. They die at end of turn. So the combo is you dump Grinva and Stone Scarlet Leviathan for the OTK. This helps dump those units for the OTK, and it digs for the Dumping Ground. And you already want it to be S for the Dumping Ground, P to discard the guys, J so you can play the STJ display that tutors for a relic to tutor for Dumping Ground. So you're already in the factions for this, and it just does everything you want. Get ready to take a dump next week.
You lost me 4 new cards ago. I mean, that said, this just in like straight Xenon as a whatever reanimator enabler seems fine. Draw a dude, reanimate, put another dude in the bin, reanimate a dude.
Yeah, it stocks up your void like that.
Are there any
Yeah,
good
I
mono
just
T
think that,
Sentinels besides Darude?
Mono time. I mean, there's Nova Quake.
There is Nova Quake.
I mean, in
that
Praxis, it also hits Heart of the Vault. It
Divinate
possibly
Endurance.
hits Eternity Core if you're running.
But I mean, we've seen, not necessarily in Eternal, but we've seen abilities like this be good in other card games before. I don't expect it to be much different here. Like when you're digging 5 cards deep, even if those cards were just going to the bottom instead of being discarded, so you're not getting the reanimator enablers, like I think that it's still good there just because you're getting a card out of the deep, and a relevant card at that. And the fact that they discard makes this card that much better because of the shenanigans you can do with Dumping Ground or Grasping at Shadow, something like that.
Oh my god. I just saw that they made Sandcrawler into a real card.
Oh yeah, the whole cycle.
Yeah, they made all 3 of them.
Oh my. When you run out of design space, you just go see what tokens you made. Print them.
The flyer is actually really good. Like a 2/2 flyer for 2 at uncommon. That's a strong card.
I mean, people played Tinker Overseer in decks with no relics. And I
I'd
didn't like
forgotten
it.
about that.
All right, let's get into our first sight.
2016.
Sights are a new card type where when you cast them and at the beginning of each turn afterwards, you play one of the cards in the agenda. And then I believe it's the 4th turn, so like you play it, then the 2nd turn you play the 2nd spell, the 3rd turn you play a 3rd spell, and the last turn
And
it
then
sacrifices and plays the unit.
Yep.
On the 3rd one, yeah.
Okay, so this one is...
It doesn't sacrifice is the one part there. It's the persistent effect of the sight stays around.
Oh, nice.
Also that. Yes.
So this is a 4-cost, 3 health sight. Sights can be attacked and burned. Your units and
There's
relics
like
cost 1 less.
9 layers of rules on this.
Yeah, they're planeswalkers. So units and relics cost 1 less. That's immediately very good. It's a ramp card. And then Talir's agenda is Accelerate, which is shitty, Refresh, which is shittier, and Viper's Bite, which is shittiest. And then at the end of that, you get a Talir Unbound.
Is that actually true? Viper's Bite looks the closest to playable out of those 4. Actually, Refresh is probably pretty good because you can give a unit +4 if it's
Yeah,
relevant.
it's not
or
necessarily
just
about.
heal.
Yeah, it's not really about the spells that it casts are being playable. It's more about how well does Praxis Arcanum protect itself from your opponent's attackers. So in this case, not particularly well. Refresh makes your blockers a little bit safer, and Viper's Bite can make your opponent reluctant to want to trade in. But as far as sights go, this one protects itself probably among the worst.
The worst, I believe, actually.
Yeah, that or
Wait, is there no mono red sight?
the Argentport one's
There
pretty bad
isn't.
at
There's
protecting
no
itself
mono
as well.
blue either.
Yeah,
Man.
there's like 7 sights or something like that, I think.
7, yeah.
Cycles.
Eternal has a habit of making there be the implication of a cycle and then just not follow through. I think they call that we started a cycle and ran out of.
But they also like
So-
splitting things up between sets weirdly, so for all we know, we're going to get them later.
Oh, I'm sure we'll
That's
get
true.
mono
Oh, yeah,
fire
we
and
will.
mono primal sights
We'll-
at some point.
There will be more sites just because they're going to treat them the same way that Magic treats planes, and that they're probably going to be a couple in each set.
So
So it's not really going to be a cycle so much as just a continue.
I've been like winding up for a site rant for an hour and a half. Do you want that now, later, not at
Yeah,
all?
hit us. Hit us.
Go for
Alright.
it.
All right. I dislike all aspects of sites, and I mean from a flavor perspective, a gameplay perspective, and a power balancing perspective. And I've been able to hit it down. I'll skip flavor since you guys can tell just by looking. These things are a mess. They're a place that has an agenda that summons a unit that plays 3 spells that are not associated with that unit and also have a persistent effect that is not related to the place that they are representing. They're units, they go on the board, except they're not units, but they can be targeted by units. Anyways, flavor, total nightmare. Development, also total nightmare. They do 5 different things, which means that they've got all these knobs that you have to tune and figure out where they line up. I think they're actually going to play better than they look, and they look bad to me, just because there's so few axes that interact with them, because they took away Torch and Obliterate, and then also Relic weapons, which are 3 like really common ways that we killed units. And then you're sitting with your Slays in hand that don't interact. Relic removal doesn't interact. Is there anything that specifically kills sites in the set?
No, not that I saw.
Right,
No.
so you
There's
can only
that
hit them
burn
by
spell,
attacking them or burning them out. And 3 of the colors don't have any access to burn spells at all, just fire and primal, so they're left to attacking. But unlike planeswalkers, they soak a whole damage step, so as soon as you have any blocker in play, it turns into this whole combat nightmare with fast spells and am I going to be able to kill it or not? So unlike planeswalkers, where they're sort of, you evaluate them based on your first thing, I think these are actually going to stick around a turn or two and even pop a whole bunch of the time. So I think they're gonna play well, but these things are they're a good idea that did not survive development. And there's so many rules that have to be tuned to make these things work. And then it's a card type that you can't put at common, right? We've got a whole card type that you're not going to see below legendary or at least rare. There's It's just not going to happen for draft, for constructed. So these are a big miss for me.
Right,
Okay, I agree with parts of that. First off, the flavor part, you're totally on point with. They are a mess. They also have the most boring card type name I can possibly think of. What's
It is 4
the
letters.
fact that they're fairly complicated, I mean, I don't disagree, but I don't see that as bad of a thing. Like within the amount of things they wanted them to do, I feel like they're fairly understandable. Like I'm not finding myself confused by site interactions. The people I know who send me questions about Eternal haven't been pestering me about how the hell does this work. So I don't think it's that bad on that front. I agree that there aren't enough access to interact with them, though. That's a big one for me. They really should be attackable by relic weapons. I think that's the major mistake there.
I don't think that's a mistake. I think that's a development choice to get these things to stick around. Because otherwise,
they're
unitless
so
versus
bad
unitless.
if you're never getting the
he's saying
unit.
he's saying that choice was a mistake. They made the wrong choice.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't mean it was
Okay.
unintentional.
Yeah.
I think it was wrong.
Well, I mean, they also tuned Obliterate and Torch, so these things didn't just die. So
They want us to
I
get
agree with
play with
those
the
choices, honestly. What's it called? Now, the deck I'm currently playing has no access with which to interact with these things, so I just kind of watch them. I will say you don't lose for them if they go through their steps. You don't auto-lose. It's bad, but you don't lose the game.
well, that's the thing, right? So they have to, because there's no access to interact with these things, they have to tune them down because they're going to stick around a lot of the time, right? Because you can defend them so easily. So that means that you end up with these underpowered cards that they have to tune down so much because they play three spells and then give you a unit while sticking around. Like if these things go off, they give you so much value. So they have to just play garbage like Accelerate.
Well, the other
Like, so
ones,
they just
there's a lot of
look
good
terrible.
ones that like have like removal spell, card advantage, only one unplayable
And then junk,
situational spell.
right?
Yeah.
And they've also sort of tied themselves into this 3 per thing that I think they'll go back on later and they'll make something that has like a 2-card agenda or a 5-card agenda or whatever.
Oh, absolutely.
But,
yeah. Like I
don't
feel like
think anything wrong with the fact that they'll break the pattern of 3, though. I actually
feel like
really like that they're doing these by reusing other cards, especially when they're reusing cards that people don't use. I think that's a very clever way of weaving them in. I quite like these. There are notable flaws with them, but I do like them overall.
I mean, there's a reason people don't play cards like Accelerate. But
I mean, sure, and I'm not saying
they
people
don't play them for
should,
free
but
off
I'm
of
saying it's a
something.
good effect to put on something like this.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's, and I think that they did intentionally kind of play it safe with the sites in the first go around, and that as they print more, they'll probably get more and more daring. Like we saw this out of Magic when anytime you introduce a new card type, you
gotta be very
generally
careful.
you're gonna want to play it safe at first, just see what you're dealing with, and then start pushing them a little bit more and more. And I think it's a fine design choice.
Yeah, especially when you look at Magic with the obvious card type to compare to of Planeswalkers, they didn't play it safe with the first ones, and that had ramifications. The first ones were scary, mostly because they didn't understand how to play it. Yeah, the first ones were really good.
The Lorwyn
Baby
5?
Jays.
Yeah, there was
Baby
Garuk that
Jays,
was
Garuk.
overwhelmed with Suspend 1 for 4, and that only cost 2 the turn you played it. There was the Agina with -1, give +1/+1 counters to your whole team. Like, they were all pretty good.
Yeah.
I guess except for
Chandra. Chandra was bad, but the rest of them were really good.
The untapped 2 lands, and then they played like Fertile Ground with it.
Yeah,
and then
Garrett's ultimate was overrun. Like, but anyway, I do
Going
think
back to this card game,
I do think that of the sites, I think the Shadow one is probably the best. It's the only one I've played with, so it's the only one I know is for sure good. But I think that, and like I kind of said earlier, I think that sites that have a built-in way to protect themselves, so the one that's cut ties or a way to block or balance something or whatever.
One's probably pretty good.
Yeah, so like anything that has a built-in way to kind of get a unit off the board or create a blocker for itself, like the Skycrag one plays mirror image, so you get an extra blocker.
Or gun down.
I think those are going to be the ones that show up the most and are going to end up being the best. This one just doesn't do that.
Yeah, we can just talk about those when we get to them. I mean, we can move on. So Thrashing Duneworn, I would ignore if it wasn't legendary. Does anyone think this card's worth talking about? Like it's legendary, so they clearly think it's
talking
okay.
about it and liking it. I don't see the appeal.
Yeah. Okay.
Not all cards are Sandstorm Titan, I guess.
No, this card seems okay.
Oh, really? Okay, well, 4
This is
TT,
the
3,
first time
4.
seeing it.
Your units with killer have +1/+1. Amplify 2, give one of your units killer. Yeah. So,
This seems way worse than the Praxis 3/4.
yeah, this card,
I'd much rather give Berserk and Deadly.
yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, like at low power levels, this card is just really weak. At low power levels, this is a 3/4 for 4 or a 4/5 killer for 6. At high power levels, it's much more realistic to use Snaking Strike formation for this purpose.
Yeah, we still have that card, right?
Yeah. If you just walk single file, you'll never have a problem with this card.
Wait a minute. Okay. So this card gives itself killer.
I don't know. I don't think so.
It can, because it says give one of your units, not one of your
I don't know
other
if it-
units. And it
I don't know
says
if it's
your
other-
units with killer. So it turns into a 4/5 killer for 6.
That
Yeah.
seems
That is
bad.
my
Versus
interpretation of it.
That seems bad. That's a bad scenario.
No, wait, don't you get the first amplify for free?
No. No.
Okay, I thought like it was.
Oh, it's a Dune reference. Oh, not Star Wars.
Wait.
So you're supposed to walk without rhythm. I get it. Has anyone read
Alright.
Dune, like Frank Herbert?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a new achievement called Walk with Rhythm, by the way, to play 20 Sandworms.
Oh my
I already-
god.
Nice.
So they knew. They were aware.
Yeah, there's apparently a couple Dune references in this set.
I mean, the Sandworms have been sort of teasing it for a while. All right.
Okay,
I'm not sold.
Power
I don't
Breach
like
Sentinel
it.
is notable as being common World Bearer Behemoth. So there's your budget substitution.
Wait a minute. You're really going to skip Confiscate?
What? I was going to
You
Moonstone
just skipped a few
Vanguard.
things.
Wait, you have
Confiscate.
Confiscate? Okay, 5T fast spell, kill an attachment, draw a card?
All right. Confiscate in a set with stealing. In a set with stealing attachments, kills an attachment. No further comments.
That's,
garbage game.
that is all the analysis we need on that.
What a
Flavor
garbage-
Master RNG over here.
It does
Oh.
say draw a card. Not nothing.
I mean, if it drew that attachment,
What if you don't want the
Shame you printed
attachment?
that as
What if,
burgle, right?
what if you don't want the attachment, but you don't want the opponent to have?
Well, then you use a card that is named not confiscate, I would assume.
yeah, I don't know.
Okay, here's a card
Anyways,
I want to
it-
talk about. Moonstone Vanguard. 5TT,
So
5/5.
it's Reliquary Sentinel.
Endurance Pledge. When it attacks, draw a card. When it blocks, you gain 5. It's just giant Reliquary Raider. This card is dope.
This looks good. I like this.
Remember when Reliquary Raider used to cost 5 and be a 4/4?
Yes.
And this is that.
This is better in
plus a
3
lot
different
more.
ways. Like, it gains more health. It is bigger. It has endurance. It has
It has a
Pledge.
tribe.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those monotime sentinels we were talking about. You can draw this off of the 4-power guy.
Oh,
and then play him.
man. Pompous Historian from Moonstone Vanguard. I'm into it.
Actually, blocking and gaining 5 is absurd. Like, people
Yeah,
play
I really
the
like this
1/5
card.
deadly, dude.
Dude, how does Skycrag ever beat this? It's more brutal than Sandstorm Titan.
Well, just permafrost,
They
like it does
don't.
everything
They
else.
It has
obliterated it, I
endurance.
guess.
Oh, that's right.
Did they print away for Skycrag to beat endurance units this set?
They
They
did
did.
away for
They made
Skycrag
another
to
one
deal
that
5
cost
damage,
5,
I
and it
think.
deals
Well,
5
Skycrag can already beat endurance units if they want to.
With?
That 3/1 Oni.
Ankle Shanker.
Yeah,
Oh
that
my god.
Ankle Gnar. Ankle
I mean,
Biter.
it gets better now that we have black markets, right? Because you don't have to put it in your deck.
Anyways, this card is sweet. It's gonna see play. It's like the Monotime
neutral.
Tavrod. All right.
Yeah, I didn't see this
Wait
card
a
yet.
minute.
Any other
It's like the
cards?
monotime Tavrod that dies to annihilate.
Yes.
So mono time, yes.
Yeah, but it doesn't die to Rindra's choice.
Ah,
No, this card's good. This card's good.
There's one other card that I think is potentially notable that I want to jump back to for a moment, which is Ancient Excavator. I mean, this is just a very simple. It's a relevant creature on a not terrible body for the cost, and then you
5
draw back
TT,
something from the
4,
void. I don't
6.
think this is worth ignoring.
Summon,
Yeah, you play
draw
it in
a
your
relic
market to get
from your
back
void.
Donger or something.
Okay, so it draws a relic from your void, and it's a 4, 6, or 5. Yeah, I can see this. It's a 2 for 1.
Yeah, like it's not.
If you're
It's not game
specifically
breaking, but this seems
disjunctioning
very
back
reasonable.
some dudes, it's probably comparable to disjunction.
Yeah, it just depends on the style of your deck,
It depends
whether or
on what
not
you're
you'd
trying to
want
do.
What
this or
relic
disjunction.
are you getting
This
in your void?
notably, it is a Sentinel, and Sentinels care a lot more about relics than your average deck. So, I think that's where you're not gonna play it in Temporal to replace Disjunction with, but you will play it in like a Sentinel deck that wants to get back its Mysterium Orb or whatever they got board.
Oh, I guess there's also Charge Relic. 5 TT Etched Monolith. Your units have Charge. And it has flavor text. If you can pay 10 and stack it to make your health 25.
So
You're
by
right, it
flavor
does have
text, you
flavor
mean
text.
it has a really sweet combo with Xenon Cultist.
No, you're all missing it. The flavor text is that your units have charge.
Right.
The real effect is the health potion.
There you go.
It's a health potion for control deck.
What are
This
units?
doesn't
Bradykin
gain
2018.
25? This just sets your health total to... Alright, this card's garbage. If it gained 25, it was an ODKO. Oh wait,
No,
no! Okay,
it can
so
gain
we have
one.
last stand at the gate and it gains you 24. We got there.
This can also theoretically deal you much damage.
Yes.
Be it 50.
I mean, presumably you wouldn't sacrifice it in those scenarios, but
I mean,
Alright.
Mindslaver.
Bradykin, would you like to introduce Pit of Lenecta for us?
oh, are we going there next? Okay,
Yep.
Thank you for that. So Pit of Lenecta is a 9-mana relic, triple time. When an enemy unit goes to the void, you gain 2 life, and empower, play 2 7/7 Sandworms Exhausted. So this is how I got the Walk with Rhythm achievement. And this card is pretty good, in all honesty. This card is one of the few overbearing control win cons that this game has. Because you will never run out of 7/7 Sandworms. And you can just overwhelm them with them and kill them very, very quickly. The other part isn't irrelevant either. It gives you health stabilization as you're clearing up their threats. This card is pretty good as a whole. You need to have a plan for it getting bored, meaning it can't be your only way to win or you need a way to recur it. But it's not the end of the world if it does, because you would play it on turn 10 and make the Sandworms on that turn. This is a
How
card
many-
I'm pretty high on.
How many worms do you need for that achievement?
20.
20. I got it in one game.
Yeah, that's very doable.
I feel like you won that game but kept going.
No, I barely won that game. I almost decked myself.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
I
like
was
great
on
with
my
harsh
last
rule too.
power. I had
Like
all 25 out.
you harsh rule and you like gain 6 or 8 health. Like that's pretty great.
Yeah, this card's good.
Yeah, I think it's hard.
Yeah, this is not the strongest of the high cost relics, but it is quite good.
Yeah, we'll get
Really?
to the rest of them.
Yeah, there is a stronger one that fulfills not quite the same purpose.
Adjudicator's Gavel. We got some real graveyard hate here. 1J Curse Relic. Cards can't leave the Curse player's void. I don't think
I
we'll
didn't
ever
see
see
this
play anywhere, but it's interesting to have.
I think this absolutely could see play.
Really?
I mean, we love our hate cards, and we've got markets, and this isn't a card you ever want to main deck, so maybe
Yeah,
a Justice
things that-
deck with no better options is just like, alright, take
Things
that.
that punish Haunted Highway kind of make me happy.
Okay,
I mean,
here-
I'm sure
here's
we've
a
got
real
enough void
card.
decks where this
though.
becomes relevant.
Defiance. The card, not the set. 1J fast spell, kill an attacking enemy unit with cost 3 or less, or stun an attacking enemy with cost 4 or more. This card is the
That
truth, right?
hard. Holy cow.
Yeah, I mean, it was the first spoil we got, and it's as good now as it was then.
So
Like, it
I haven't had a
kills the
chance to
early
test
game
it yet.
stuff.
It's something that will be getting a chance to be tried in my temporal lists, because this is on paper quite solid.
So like the question is this a
I
4
worry
of
that
or a
it's
2
not
of?
quite as good as. I think it's more likely to be a 2 of. Think about how often we play Suffocate. It's not that often. This is quite different than Suffocate, but it's going to have some of the same problems.
This thing is way closer to Banish than Suffocate.
I think it's better than Suffocate in like 90% of situations.
Yeah.
Yeah, Statuary Maiden is like the one main thing that it misses that Suffocate
Seraph,
hits.
if it was set 1,
Oh, yeah, sure.
I'm sorry, that was me forgetting that this doesn't go off of attack again. I retract all comments related to suffocate. But
Yeah, it's
Well, no,
cost.
I
did
think-
that exact
think
same
comparing it to
thing in
Suffocate-
SPG chat a week ago.
Well, I think comparing to Suffocate is still somewhat reasonable, but like if given the choice, I'd still rather play Defiance.
This also lets you like harsh rule on turn 6 and then like kill their follow-up champion if you're or whatever.
Yeah.
One notable thing about this for harsh rule decks is that even if you can't kill the unit with this because they're too expensive, you can pop the Aegis with it. So like you can use this to pop a champion of whatever the Felt Cunning's Aegis quite easily. This is going to be a pretty good card.
Also,
I expect
it has
to find its
armored
way-
bear on it.
right?
Sorry,
what
say
was
that
that?
again?
They can't attack. Stunning an attacking unit buys you 2 turns, right? Because they stop attacking and then
They
they
stop
miss the next
attacking,
turn.
they can't attack next turn either.
So I don't think this is a full 4 of unless the meta's like hyper aggressive, but I think like 2 to 3 is pretty reasonable anywhere.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
also,
I think FJS
I think
and
3
TJP are the most logical homes for it.
I think 3 is a good place to start. You might go down to 2, depending on
Yeah,
what you're
depending on
facing.
what
But yeah, I
people
think
are doing.
it's definitely multiple main deck copies.
armored bears. That's all I have to say. Svecha's Bravery. We got Old Protect back. If you 1J fast spell, give one of your units +1/+1. If it's wielding a weapon, it gets Aegis.
If you have a deck like the Paladin deck with the Bond guy, I mean, it's pretty good there.
Yeah, I think
your
this card
guys
is going to
just
see a
randomly
lot of
gain
play.
Maybe that's the home. Oh, I didn't check. Did we get Paladins in this set?
There
guess we'll
are a
see.
couple. We'll get to them. They're in J. We're in J now.
Oh, that fire guy that gets the... Oh, no. Is he shot? No, he's fire. The one that plays Wanted poster? I mean, if you set him up with this...
Yes.
He's fire, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he gets a
could be
weapon,
cool.
so you can give him Aegis. Seems good.
Ooh,
And it
wait,
gets
does the
popped
Aegis
by the
block the
Wanted
wanted
poster.
poster?
It does.
Okay, that's the combo. That's how
There you go.
That's how you make Notorious Scoundrel. Or is that the card?
Yeah, Notorious Scoundrel.
That's how you make it good.
There's one more card on this page that I want to give special shout out to, and that's Barrel Through. 2J fast spell, give a unit +3/+3 this turn. Gain a fire or a primal influence. This might finally make Hulkbuster's pet deck work.
I would say that the Seek Power thing would do it a lot faster than this, but
I like the derpy
I mean,
face the bear is making.
this is kind of legit.
I mean, in the FJ plate deck, Q whatever quote number that is, this is basically Armageddon.
Wait a minute. Every card's basically some number of Armageddons. Also, call out to Oni Samurai as basically Oni Ronin before he... Like, I love the parallels on this card. This is a well-designed flavor card.
So he lost
only
his
running
master,
before he went
and then he
bad.
became more reckless or whatever. He became a 2/1 instead of a 1/2. He no longer cared for his own life.
Right. He became more dangerous. But,
It's like that movie,
less
47
survivable.
Ronin, with Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
Alright. Can we make a pit stop at Fall Short for the next?
Fall short? Yeah, I see it. It's
Sure.
right at the edge
I
of this
just
page.
like
Yo.
I like things that just like straight up kill things.
The straight up kills some things.
It's just a matter of how many, and I didn't.
What's
look
a
or
card
check
without a
anything,
battle
like,
skill that you want to kill?
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Like,
Like, Heart of the
are
Vault
there
is the only one I can think of offhand.
Certain merchants.
I guess if you're playing 8 silences in Cambrai, then you just like silence a thing and then fall
That
short.
sounds way worse than just vanquishing.
Yeah,
you have to
I-
really take a good look at the metagame because this misses like every aggro unit you can play.
Yep, most have charge or quick draw or overwhelm or.
So you're hitting things that just have summons.
Yeah, I'd say this card falls short of being constructed playable.
Oh, the pun!
I was about to do that. Damn it. But yeah, I think it's far too finicky. This is a game that has a lot of cheap conditional hard removal, and I think this is far too conditional.
Yeah, what deck are you
Wait.
playing this that doesn't have access to something like obviously Vanquish? Well, if you can play this, you can always play Vanquish. But I feel like every deck is going to have a secondary removal spell that's still better than this, whether that's
Yeah, we live in
Annihilate
the
or
three-color
Purify or
world.
whatever.
I mean, it does miss a lot, but I don't know.
Okay. Chad says Telut. You can kill Telut. I buy that. But like every flying unit dodges it. You know, all this
It
endurance
kills.
stuff.
It kills the next card we're going to talk about. I think.
Hojan,
Sharpener?
the new
Hojan,
meme.
Sharpener?
Groundbreaker.
Hojan!
Oh boy, this card.
Hojan has taken over Discord. He's an emote now. Look at that face. So Hojan is a 2J 2/2 paladin. Notable, he's a paladin. 2/1 paladin with Empower get +2/+2. And Renown, play a Justice Sigil from your deck depleted. Which triggers his Empower. So he becomes like a 6/5 that turn with Lifesteal.
Okay, so this card is insane, first off. This is, for me, is one of the 2 contestants for strongest card in the set. I think this card... What?
We already gave it to the double damage weapon.
You said that was the strongest card ever.
The double damage weapon. But no, like, first off, if you can trigger the Empower multiple times, it keeps growing and growing, and that's great. But on the most basic level, it's a 2-drop that swings for 4 lifesteal. Like, even if you ignore the Renown, that's still really good. I think this card's going to see a lot of play. I think this, plus Resolute Monk, plus Awakened Student, plus District Infantry is a deck now. I think just Empower Combray aggro is going to be the way that aggro Combray goes.
Yep, and just trying to figure out, like, how to enable, how to make sure that you're constantly hitting your power, because, like, you don't want to run out of cards. Spire Chaplain, that and Voice of the Speaker was the card that I kept thinking of. But
yeah, I also think that Keeper of the Anointed finally has a good deck now. I think there's enough paladins, and Keeper of the Anointed triggers this Renown immediately, so you get
the Ram actually want, honestly, because you'd rather that he uses it when he's attacking.
Well, I was thinking you get to go turn 2 Keeper, turn 3 this, turn 4 Oathbreaker was kind of my thinking since it ramps you.
Yeah, and you have to give Bond to something other than this in order to really make use of that, because it gives you a big Bond guy immediately. Like, you pay 2, and then you Bond him for 4 on something.
Oh, this enables, turn 3 Oathbreaker.
Yeah.
Is Oathbreaker the dude that gives all your lifesteal guys lifesteal, or, +1/+1?
Yeah.
The best card in the game.
Yeah, it's a waifu, though. It's not a dude.
They can't all be the best card in the game.
Hey, I've been touting Oathbreaker since it came out. I played Oathbreaker in my Nikto Crown deck.
That sounds really strong.
It was.
Yeah, so this card's obviously great. Another card that's obviously great is Avagraft. 3JJ Curse Relic. Summon, kill an enemy unit without flying. The cursed player can't play units with that name while they have Avagraft. And in tune they play a 3/3 Valkyrie, which does have flying. But this is so
decks
Ixalan's Binding.
Decks that don't play boar.
Yeah, so you kill a thing without flying, and they can't play more copies of it.
You don't even care if they kill it, because you get a dude out of it, and you can just play more.
They get a dude.
No, they get a dude.
Oh, they get a dude out of it?
You downgrade their unit, though. It becomes a 3/3 flyer instead of whatever thing you just killed.
This is a very confusingly written card. The cursed player can't play units with that name while you have AV Graft, but they have AV Graft.
Well, you control Avagraft, but it's attached to them.
You own. Yeah.
I own their cursed relic.
Yes.
But,
yes.
And then
you
they
attach
play.
them.
Okay.
You attach them with a card.
Like you can bore a cursed relic that's attached to you. It's still your opponent's relic. It's just attached to you.
I thought when this died, you got a Valkyrie for your trouble. This card is less bonkers.
No, this card would cost 5 then.
Yeah, I think this card is quite good. This is another card on my list to try and temporal, for fairly obvious reasons. I think this card is very powerful. Now, when playing it in a style like that has a lot of relics, you get screwed even harder when you get bored. I told you guys I would be going on about that a lot.
Why are you playing this in temporal?
Because it's a kill spell, and then it reduces the value of their future draws.
Which they're going to get a lot of because he's playing temporal.
Apparently.
Exactly. Exactly.
I feel like your problem is overloading on cards that say relic and then complaining about boar.
You're right. That's exactly my problem. But I'm continuing to go along with it.
All right.
Hashtag nerf boar. Speaking of nerfing boar,
that I'm marketing the 0 mana counterspell
Keep those relics out of here.
We have this
that
other.
Idea was bad too.
We have this cool attachment card
that
here.
idea has actually worked really well so far.
But yeah, I do think that a 3 power straight up kill most things, or at least a lot of things, and then kind of lock them out of being able to play them for the remainder of the game is obviously really strong. You should play it in your Justice decks. Don't worry about the Entomb. It's a 3/3. You can deal with that.
All right, so what do we think of Chemo Eugene's Apprentice? It's a 3J 3/3 with Warcry that summons to put 4 +7/+7 Blade Breakers, which are 7/7s for 3 with Warcry, into your deck.
They're not creatures. They are weapons. They are weapons for units. For clarification.
Yes, they are. Yeah,
They're not
weapons.
relic weapons.
Yep.
Unfortunately. I don't know.
I'm not
like
big on this card.
I like a
Personally.
3/3 war cry for 3. Like my what's the name of that card? Desert. I forget the name of the card. The Ricano card.
Crownwatch Deserter.
Crown Watch
That
Deserter,
guy, yeah.
That's what this is. Which, you know, that card's been busting up constructed for a while, so clearly this just slots right in.
Well, does putting a 3/3 Warcry for 3 body on Call of the Ancients make it good? I'm inclined to say no. Yeah.
But
No.
Also,
it is worth noting that
these weapons are worse than Call the Ancient creature.
they are tutorable with that 6-cost Oni that grabs a weapon that costs 3 or less.
A crowd favorite?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, well, there
the
is.
problem
That's
is
true.
then you're
but
playing a
there
3
is-
mana 3/3 Warcry and then a 6-drop in the same deck, and those sort of go in different directions.
Well, there is Oni synergy, and there's Oni synergy in this set as
Grave
well as
Marker Oni from the previous
as well
set?
as the 4-drop
Also
that
can
came
tutor
out.
them
before.
if you're in an Oni weapons deck. It's a 4-cost 4/2 with tribute tutor weapon.
So obviously, if you draw the Blade Breakers, they're nuts. But it's just a matter of how good the 3 mana 3/3 is. So definitely a synergy deck. You need some reason to be playing this guy. He's
Yeah,
not
I think you're playing this
blocking a
in a
random
deck that has the Oni Lord and the Ricano Sight. Like you're not playing this in your average
Please don't play the
Justice
Ricano
aggro deck. Like you're gonna put it in decks that care about the creature type a lot more than they care about the abilities.
Any other card on this page interest anyone?
Seraph's Beacon, I think, is interesting. To go back to that Combrite and Power aggro style, I think this could be another potential fueler of it.
So it is a 3-cost relic with summon, play a District Infantry, and when you attack with 3 or more units, play a Justice Sigil from your deck depleted. So if you're attacking with 3 like District Infantries or Hojans or Resolute Monks, this adds a lot of strength to the board.
Is that better than, well,
So like
you've got a
you
lot of
would want to
options for
play
both.
you'd want to play District Infantry on 1, and then one of your 2-drops 2, and then probably one of your other 2-drops on 3, and then play this on attack and hope that your first 3 plays are still alive somehow. I think that's the plan.
Yeah,
But the
if your
problem is that
opponent
you're-
never interacts with you, this card is the fastest goldfish available.
The problem is that if you're playing it like as a last card in your hand, you know, there's like you're only going to get the Justice Sigil once, and you hope the opponent's dead. So playing the District Infantry doesn't do much, and you might be better off with some other kind of card that does that. You know, maybe Stand Together. But
I mean, I don't think.
yeah,
I
but
think you play
Stand
this
Together's not a new card.
in addition to Stand Togethers, but I'm not saying this will be part of that deck. I'm saying it could be.
Yeah.
Like we were talking before, but that you need ways of consistently getting power so your creatures remain threats. This will do that. This is
if you
designed to do.
have creatures.
Yeah, and I think that's totally right. The only issue I have is that you kind of are.
You kind of cut off there.
Yeah.
Oh, I said that you need to be ahead on board before you can really. Like if you just play it without having 3 units on board that turn, then just play a different card.
So
Right.
this card clearly doesn't work because you can just tell from the art. It's called Seraph's Beacon, but instead of luring a Seraph, it just like got some random dude.
Well, he's the one holding it. He's trying to call.
No,
someone.
no, he's trying to call Seraph, yeah.
Oh, well, he's doing a bad job because he
got
gets a District Infantry instead.
So it's still not very good.
he gets a District Infantry.
Oh, he
instead.
is District Infantry. District
Yeah,
Infantry
yeah,
is
there
the
you
guy
go.
in the
District
District Infantry is
is
so
using the
jacked.
beacon.
Why is this guy a
Whoa,
1/1? He's swole. Holy shit.
Do they have the same beard? They don't look the same at all.
Oh, but that's the same person.
All right.
Alright,
Anyway,
I buy that it's a District Infantry.
So I guess on the next page, you've got a bunch of cards I've never seen before. Most of them look bad. Imperial
Agreed
Loyalist
so
could
far.
be okay.
I was gonna say, is Imperial Loyalist?
All right, so it's a
Playable
4J 4/3 with Pledge. Pledge is like minor upside, and then Renown. Play another unit of your choice from your deck with cost equal to or less than that spell or weapon. So the more expensive weapon or pump that you play on it, the bigger a unit you can tutor out of your deck. It is of your choice. So maybe
You
this
need
sets
to
up
be
some
able-
combo.
Oh,
You
This
need to be
is-
able to untap with this.
no, you need to be able to play this in the same turn for like 9 mana. This doesn't
What
live.
that?
It's a 4/3.
I agree,
Mono
4/3
faction,
is-
4/3.
is the worst stat line a card can be, and it's single faction too. Like,
Yeah. On the
So,
buff
like-
side, this is a Justice Sigil.
That's probably the best
if-
case
I mean,
scenario.
we do play Justice Sigils. They are widely used.
Yeah.
But yeah, you need it to live for it to do anything, but it can really do things. Like you play a Deep Forge Plate on it, go get a 5-drop out of your deck or whatever.
It's really hard for this card to pop off, but if it does,
It's
it's
strong.
pretty sweet.
Yeah. No, maybe.
What if you played like Mirror Image on it, and then like just kept mirroring image Imperial Loyalists?
Oh,
Well,
baby.
no. Even better, there's the 4-cost mirror image now. So you 4-cost mirror image this and get another one.
Yeah,
You-
and then
you
you just
really
keep
did it.
going.
You got 2 4/3s for 4. That's kind of a combo.
Well, for 8, but yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
2 4
No, well, you
for
get
8 when
3,
you
'cause, like,
are
if you-
No, it is for 4.
OP.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for 4.
I clicked the wrong button.
All
Let
right.
me flip back.
Let's see. What else?
Nothing else on this page is interesting, I think.
Yeah.
Whoa! What about this foil card that I was about to read before it took me away?
Zolta Foil. 5-cost, Justice. It's a weapon that gives +3/+4. When the wielder dies, play a 2/2 exile with Aegis and Endurance for each weapon it was wielding. Summon silence enemy unit. So it comes down, silences something, and
Is a +3
When-
+4.
when it dies, you get a 2/2 for each weapon that it was holding when it died.
It has
Which
a lot
means
of
one
words.
most of the time.
The card has a
But-
lot of words.
It's a silent stick +3 +4. That's probably worse than Vanquish stick.
Dying into an
Yeah, I
Aegis
think
unit
this
is kind of
card's
nice if
very
you're a
mediocre.
weapon-heavy deck, though. So maybe like some deck jams 20 weapons, and that guy who you draw a card every time you play a weapon, and like that deck would play this.
I think this is different than Vanquish Stick. I don't know if
Quartermaster.
one's better than the other.
Only
like
Quartermaster.
Vanquish Stick hoses Void decks, and this gives you units when your thing dies. Like I think they do different things, but I don't know if one's better than the other.
Yeah. I'm not excited personally.
No, we need to see other things to want this guy.
All right, the next page is the legends, and there's some sweet ones here. So, Reyna the Unwavering, 6 JJJ, 6/7. It's a paladin with endurance pledge, and target felon opponent loses the game. What it actually says is enemy shadow spells and curses can't be played on her. So a felon deck literally cannot deal with this. The removal is all shadow cards and permafrost, none of which touch her.
Yep. So yeah, Felon's gonna struggle. Argenport has Vanquish to deal with it, but Slay,
Doesn't
Annihilate
Don't
can't touch
just
it.
block this with a deadly unit.
Nobody plays those anymore. It's 2018.
Yeah, if they can get one.
Literally yesterday, everybody on deadly units. Wait.
You play Roland, and then she's invulnerable to damage.
So
Boom,
is,
you're done.
is she immune to shadow curses as well, or all curses?
Enemy shadow spells and curses. So just shadow
What?
ones.
Okay. You're sure?
That's
That's
how
what
I read the
what the card
card.
says.
I haven't cast the card, I guess. But that's what I would assume.
They
so
they
it can't be
target,
cowardice.
They can't
I'm
target
thinking.
Reyna with a shadow spell or a shadow curse.
I mean, it already dodges Winter's Grasp and Permafrost. Like, what other curses are you playing?
I mean, there are no other curses.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
Wanted poster, I guess.
Cowardice.
Yeah, cowardice. But that's shadow, so she's
Yeah,
no coward.
She's not just cowardice. she's unwavering, man. She's not a coward.
Oh, flavor win.
I think this card is great if you want to play 6-drop with no text. Like, no summon, no entomb or anything.
Well, endurance and built-in protection, I think is fine. Like I
Yeah, but
think
it doesn't have built-in protection from any, like, Vanquish or anything, so
It's really
against a
just
lot of
Vanquish.
non-shadow decks, it just dies.
Well,
I
it's
do
worth
agree
noting, though,
there's-
that but by shadow being the color that it targets, it removes a lot of the threats that would typically hit a card like this. So there's no
Slay,
slay, and
banish,
importantly, there's no
yeah.
annihilate. And it wouldn't have hit banish, wouldn't hit something this high anyways. But I think this card's actually quite decent. This is another one of those dodges most removal. The one that it gets hit by is Vanquish, which is unusual. But other than that, it is quite hard to remove. Now, it is kind of a big do-nothing stick. It doesn't apply that much
Yeah.
pressure, which is the problem.
It's a market card.
I guess 6/7's
Yeah,
big enough that it blocks everything, so it's reasonable.
I think in most decks, there's going to be better things to do on 6, unless you're trying to make Paladin tribal work. I think the
this
card.
does show
I
up
think the
some
card
cards.
is really
Bond
good.
out.
Like
No,
it's weird.
yeah.
Like I think the card is really good. I just think that there's a lot of real 6 drops, and I don't know better than most of them.
Replaceable.
If this had lifesteal, I'd be all about it. As is, it's a one of
if
in
this had
matches.
lifesteal, would be
Lifesteal or
absurd.
flying.
A
Like either
huge
one.
unkillable lifesteal, dude.
Look, I didn't
Or
say it'd be
lady.
balanced. I'm just saying I'd be into it.
If this thing had lifesteal, I think Paradox would be jumping off a bridge right now. He has already gone on and on about the how there's way
Lifesteal
too many
creep.
lifesteal units in this game.
I mean, every time Paradox sees a 2/2 with no abilities, he's like, "All right, aggro's broken." So I think our card evaluation is a little off. Like he saw
Sorry,
that
Paradox, if you're
suffocate
watching.
wisp, that magenta wisp, and he's like, "All right, guys, aggro's the business." He was on the war leader or the
Black
whatever that
Hole
inspire
Warrior.
+0/+0 Black Hole War Leader.
Oh my god, Inspire
He was on that card.
+0/+0.
I played that card in Constructed for a game or two.
Was it good?
Hey, Paradox.
Uh,
Paradox
no.
is a dreamer, and he's willing to think small. Okay.
I tried playing it in Xenon Killers and then realized that Living Example is better. And
You just need to get one hit off before it's as good out of the box as a draft card.
All right, let's go to a card that's actually really good. Martyr's Chains. 8
Holy
Can I take this
JJJJ
one?
relic. Empower, kill an enemy unit. I also didn't realize it said this. At the end of your turn, double the strength and health of your units. That's actually like good text. I didn't even know this card had, and I
Can you
thought it was
imagine
good.
this in a Telut deck? You just you play Telut, you play this, you attack, you kill their entire board. If they happen to still be alive, you double your 6/6 to a 12/12 just cause, and you say, all right, your move, opponent.
Yeah, this card
Okay,
is.
they don't get
this
a
card, I think,
They're
is
chained.
the strongest card in the set. This card is utterly ridiculous. There's two homes that this falls in. One is the top end of a big Combri / big Telut style. It's very obviously insane there. It is the top end to destroy everything in that style. But this has also been really good in temporal styles, guys. Yes, I know, I keep saying that.
It's like Bradykin has
but-
one deck.
I do, and I play it nonstop.
Except
But,
for
like,
that 6 month
this...
period where you
Sure.
stop.
Well, that's true. Go away and let me talk about Martyr's Chains.
All right.
yeah, Brady's
So,
he's gonna gush.
In that kind of slow lockdown control style, this gives you reusable removal that does not use up mana on your turn, and everything about that's amazing. And also, this actually gives you more win cons, because all of your Desert Marshals are now win cons. And you have not lived until you kill someone with a 32 attack Desert Marshal, just for the record.
And I
This
imagine you
card-
play a smuggler in temporal now instead of Aurelian Merchant, so that like becomes a real threat too.
I'm currently running the Elysian Smuggler.
Yeah, so it becomes like a 8/8 straight off the bat.
Yeah,
Yep.
and those are quite scary, and they fight things really effectively. This card is really good. I do think it is the strongest card in the set. I think it's not going to have the play numbers that represent that because it's a top end card, and it's played as a couple of decks that go that late. But I think this card is going to be very warping to the metagame.
Yeah, like you need to be playing control to want it, but control decks are really gonna want it, and it's gonna
Or
lock down
being playing
games.
Big Combri, which is not properly a control deck, I would say.
It used to be. It's gotten less and less. It's kind of gotten more away from that, but yeah, like you want to be playing a late top end, and like you're not gonna play this in your average like Argent deck, even though it is a really powerful card. Like you said, probably more powerful than most of the other cards in the set, if not all. Yeah, I'm not. I think that you're totally right. It's not going to see the play numbers that it probably should based on the power level.
All right, let's jump into Bradykin land here of primal cards. Oh wait, RNG, did you have something to say?
Hey.
I do.
Oh,
I mean,
I just thought you
reading
said,
the
oh.
other cards on the page and making faces at a
Oh.
1/3 renowned killer. Yeah.
I just wanted to say Steely Resolve is terrible and no one should ever play it. 0 cost to negate any stealth cost 1 or less. There are better ways to
Somebody-
beat Boar.
There are many, but this is the one Bradykin has chosen.
The only better way to beat Boar is to play a deck that doesn't get beaten by Boar, and
What
I
if you-
refuse to do that on principle.
I think I agree with that. Yeah, like I don't know of a better way to beat Boar if you're playing a deck that
Yeah,
kind of needs
like,
a relics.
I'm not memeing when I play this card.
Just
If
play
you're
Unseal.
trying to play a deck
Just
that
play
alls
Unseal.
in against Boar... No, because Unseal requires you to hold up 2 mana every turn against the possibility of them choosing to bore you that turn. Whereas
That's
this
pretty
you
tough
don't
in a
hold up mana.
temporal deck, Brady.
Temporal decks don't play temporal anymore. That's the mascot. You know
Wait
that.
a minute.
I'll send you the list later. I don't run temporal.
That's okay. I will survive without the list, because boy, am I not playing that.
Well, I'm sending it to you anyway, specifically because you've told me not to.
Oh, no.
But, like, in all honesty, I think this card is good. I actually think it is good in the right context.
And that context is
if you're
exactly
trying-
for it.
I'll leave it to the Bradykins of the
actually,
world.
this is the card you use when your style loses to Boar and you need the full out way to counter it. And for the record, it does counter other things too. It hits torches, it hits dark returns, it hit contrabands if you feel like being a jerk.
Ooh, that's actually kind of sweet.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly
don't want your
think
opponent
this
to play
card is
contraband.
good. I honestly think it's good. I'm
No, I
not
agree.
joking.
All right.
You can say it as loudly and as many times as you want. We know you think it's good. We just don't agree with it.
Do you
No,
think we'll get
SkeeJay
burned
does.
if we skip Pitfall Trap? I know we skipped Unseen Commando a couple sets ago. Do you think Pitfall Trap will see any play?
I think Pitfall Trap is good.
Okay.
It's a repeatable discard outlet, I
Yeah,
guess.
so once per turn you may pay 1 to draw a card, then discard a card. Use only if you have played a unit this turn, and then summon, deal 1 damage.
I think it's
I think it's a
key
good
card.
ability. I don't know what deck wants it or would want it.
Probably
Because
Reanimator
the
thing?
Maybe this goes
but
in the
you
dumping
need,
ground
You need
deck.
to play a unit to proc it. Is like the tough part.
This actually probably
But-
does go in dumping ground. All right, I'm
Dumping
into
Ground
it.
just wants as much churning as
if you
possible.
are
right? So it probably
able
doesn't dump
to-
enough cards.
If you are able to play a unit per turn, getting a loot one is really, really, really good. So I don't have a deck for it. I just think the ability is really strong.
All right.
Are you guys discounting Mischief Yeti? It's a 2-1 for the Yeti deck.
I suppose.
For one.
Sure. Renown, draw snowball. I don't think it's...
I mean,
got a big head.
It has no
Interesting, but
text. It's just
it
a 2-1
probably sees
for,
play.
for the Yeti deck.
Yeah. All right, here's a card that isn't good that I want to comment on. Savagery. We finally got our rare Predator's Instinct.
I mean, this card might be okay.
Oh, God.
It's
No,
worse
like,
than Predator's
Doing some
Instinct.
blue
So
deck
much
with
worse.
No way to interact.
It's so much worse.
Mm,
P.
Like if you're not in time. If you're not in time.
If you're not in time, then you don't need to play
There's
this.
so much P, it's not even funny. At least if it was PP, we could laugh at it.
I mean, you can't play it before turn 3, but then you can give one of your units Killer and Overwhelm.
Oh, Master
Yeah,
Cartographer?
this card is really bad.
This is a card that
It
might
has
see play, but I think it's
interactive
worse than
monoprimal,
Nocturnal
man.
Observer.
What's the best thing you do? You play this on a Feast Caller and kill a 3/3?
It seems like the best case scenario, yes.
You play this on an island, on a 6/12 island, and kill a 5/5.
Ooh.
Deal 1 damage.
You're right. The overwhelm was really critical of that scenario.
It was
The
well
overwhelm
worth
is worth 2
extra
extra influence and 2 rarity shifts.
Man, this could have been our meme legendary of the set.
Oh God, that would have been the most disappointing legendary.
Is there
You
a
sure it
single
wasn't
card
just-
in the next page besides Clutch of Talons that's any good?
Real quick.
Like, I don't think Storm Tamer Operative is good. Like, maybe,
No.
like, I can't ever beat Hailstorm.Huru plays it, but I don't think it's going to be good, and I'd rather not play the card.
Does Parry do anything?
I was looking at Parry. Parry's interesting.
2P fast spell, Governor units +2 health this turn, deal 2 damage to an enemy unit.
It's hard to hold up 2, and
It's
in
like
decks
a
that would
really
want to
bad
play
snow
this-
pelting combined with the weather the storm. I don't know.
And in decks that want to play this, it's hard to hold up 2 because you're tapping out a lot.
Yeah.
It's kind of my
But
thought. Like, I think
is
it's cool.
multi-purpose.
I think it's
both
good.
Defense and offense. You know, win combats. Could do stuff.
If it cost 1,
agree.
I'd say, but at 2.
Yeah, I think 2 is too much to hold up.
All right, let's just talk about Clutch of Talons. This card is dope. Everything about this card is dope. So it's a 4
Card's great.
PPP
Absolutely.
+2/+2 weapon. Gives flying. It's Amplify 2, play a 5/5 dragon with flying. So this is the primal Great Parliament. At 8, it's like making bigger guys. I guess it does cost 8 instead of 4, and you need to have a unit in play. But come on, you're making dragons instead of owls, and dragons are so much cooler. The art has Kenna on it, holding that phoenix egg that we talked about a long time ago. And Kenna is like one of the sweetest cards in Eternal, so I'd love to see her on more
suspect
art.
it's a dragon's egg, not a phoenix egg.
Yeah, I
But,
was gonna say I don't think that's the same egg. It looks a lot less cool, and there's no reason the phoenix egg would be on the dragon card.
Man, I
That
just
is-
hope that Kenna's plan isn't just like, all right, we need some backup, and just goes down the line and starts breaking eggs. And just dragons pop out.
Dude, you can't make a dragon swarm without cracking a few eggs.
Nice. But yeah,
And then Harshul
second-
makes an omelet.
Basically, for 10 power, is that right? No, for 8 power, you get 10 points worth of stats, and yeah, just really good in as a finisher in a primal big control
This
or
is a
big
really
mid-range.
gross follow-up to Feast Caller or Champion of Cunning.
Feast Caller into Clutch of Talons. Oh my god, 6/6 flying Aegis card draw machine that comes with a dragon friend.
Yeah.
Hot damn.
Yeah, I mean, it's not exactly a hot take to say that this is a good card. This has been a fairly well discussed card by the community. The only thing that's like particularly notable that hasn't been said in this call yet is that there's not many other options for primal top end stuff. Primal doesn't have a lot going on in playing the big top end finishers, and this can absolutely fill that purpose. So I expect this to be played in a lot of Genève markets, and
Yes.
potentially in some made boards.
I mean,
Also,
if you,
the one thing I like also is that you can curve something like a Feast Caller into this, 5 into 6, and just have a 6/6 flyer and 5/5 flyer and draw some cards.
you can also just curve Genev Merchant into this and hit him for 5 in the air.
Got him.
Take that.
Less appealing, but sure.
It's like half an accelerated evolution.
It's most of an accelerated evolution. +2/+2. It's just missing endurance. Banded Dragon.
Okay. What else is interesting? I think Shadowlands Border Scout, 4 PP, 1/2 flying pledge. When Shadowlands Border Scout hits the enemy player, draw a card for each damage dealt. This could go into some sort of like blitz type deck, right? Like you're playing Rapid Shot and Rapid Shot this and draw 5 cards.
No.
5 cards.
We're just gonna keep saying no.
All right, fine.
It's an elf.
All right,
so-
how about this one? Sudden Schism, 4 PP fast spell. Play a copy of one of your units. We can finally play like 24 Vara deck.
You could already play Clutchmate or whatever.
Yeah,
the
but now you
Dino
have
copy
more of
one.
them.
But this is a fast spell,
Yeah. So
so it's kind of like an ambush blocker.
does that,
Ambush Vara?
Yeah.
That's so gross.
did people ever play Mirror Image because they wanted to play it at fast speed? Like, did that ever happen?
No, but you didn't have the
No, that
ability
was never
to.
really the point. No.
No, but now you have the ability to.
But now it could be the point.
Yeah, that's so good. They like you attack with your Vara or whatever, so they attack back, you make another Vara, eat their thing, gain a bunch of life. This is sick.
Yeah, this card seems really annoying to play against.
It can also just function as protect, as Zardo was saying in the chat. Like they vanquish your unit, you just make a copy.
You just get another one.
Yeah, you get to use the summon again and the entomb. It's better protect.
It's a 4-cost protect.
I'm actually into this. I'm more into it now than I was. Thought I didn't want to pay. There's
And
a
I
lot you
hate
can do
Mirror
with this.
Image type effects, but
I
they're
do
really
too.
good in this game
You need to
because
play
of
more
permanent
Vara
stat
Kaifas
changes.
decks. Vara and Kaifas love Mirror Image, and they're so much
I
fun.
know. They're really, Mirror Image effects are much better here than they are in Magic because of, they don't make tokens and permanent stat changes. And it like refreshes Aegis and stuff. So killer, whatever.
This is good. This is going to be annoying as hell to play against, I think.
Yeah. Also, what is on this card? It's like some random white-haired elf dude who's really ripped.
He's chained up, and
His
he
big
made a
plan
copy of
was
himself.
to copy himself also chained up next to himself.
I didn't really think this through.
And then one of the hymns will get him out? I don't know. Alright, I just want to make a note that we have Lens of Clarity on this page, which we should note its origin and stuff. Just in case anybody doesn't know.
Clarity GGTV was an Eternal streamer who died unexpectedly last month, and this is kind of a homage to him.
Is that true?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. They did that. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we found out. We messaged the team right around the time that the Storm Tamer operative was getting named, and said, "Hey, this guy passed away. He's been a big part of the community. Do you mind, putting a little nod to him in the set?" And this is what we ended up with.
That's incredible.
He's also the one who made my little window, what I'm talking about, for my webcam. The
Yeah,
plate
he
that
made a
says
lot of
Lights Out
people
Ace
do
on
that.
it.
Order, yeah.
Like the cam frame. I can bring it up. That thing. He made that thing. Okay. Elvish Swindler. You can use this to play Cookbook in non-fire decks. 5 PP, 2/3. Summon, play a relic of your choice that costs 2 or less from your deck. Also can find Combustion
honestly-
Cell out of a Kennedin Market.
Yeah.
Yeah,
mean,
I think this has some uses, mostly in shifting a card into a market that it's not supposed to be in, or a card into another color deck that it's not supposed to be in. I think on its own, it's usually not going to be quite good enough. There's not a ton of less cost relics you can toolbox.
I mean, there are now.
Yeah, I mean,
You can play
cookbook
cursed
and
relics
sell.
with this dude. This guy toolboxes with cursed relics.
Oh yeah, you can get that graveyard hate or the
That's
charge
a
hate
fair
one.
point.
Flame Scarf. Opponent is
Yeah,
void returning. Go get that void return card. Opponent's trying to block. Get the fire card.
Yeah.
I don't know what the other cards do because I haven't seen them yet.
If
2, 3
only this
for
thing
5
could
is
get
pretty
out of
Just
poor
play
though.
a bunch of one cost tech relics in different colors.
I don't think you can play this
Play your-
in a deck
have your
that
5
like
drop. Go get them.
is trying to beat down because you need to play a 5 cost 2/3.
I mean, you've got the backup plan of just going for cookbook and getting more gas. There you go. There's your aggro solution.
I think that's kind of step one is play this in a cookbook deck or a deck that has cookbook in it somewhere, whether
I
it's
mean,
fire or not.
This is a
as
Kenneden's
Brady-
card because Kenneden's doesn't care
Yes.
what unit died, just that a unit died.
Yep.
But I hate Kenneden's, and so I wasn't going to bring it up.
Rip. All right, how about Brilliant Idea? 6 PP spell,
Oh,
draw
this
2
card.
cards, amplify 2, draw an additional 2 cards. So for 8 you draw 4, for 10 you draw 6, for 12 you draw 8,
It's
etc.
the partner to Riddle game, right? This is the card that lets Riddle game really go off.
Well, I
'Cause
mean, this
instead of
card-
drawing 6 extra cards, you can draw 1,000,000.
This is the card you use to win top deck wars, and not any other time ever.
I think this is a way better card to market for than Elvish Swindler if you're just using it to get an off-faction cookbook. Because then instead of like spending all that time cooking, you can just like draw 4 cards or whatever.
People marketed for what's it called? That card that got nerfed that used to gain 4, draw 2 cards.
Vital Arcana.
Vital Arcana, and I think
Well,
that
people
this,
just main decked that.
this is yeah,
They
but
did
people like
both.
also had it in their market as just like a card to market for when you didn't need temporal or whatever. So marketing for a Brilliant Idea in a control deck doesn't seem horrible.
Could be a brilliant
I
idea.
currently have it in my market in Temporal. I have both the Swindler for Cookbook and the Brilliant Idea. I will be deciding which one of those stays based on results. I haven't decided.
Wait a
Yeah,
minute.
you play this as a one of in the market just to be able to draw
Brady,
6
why
cards.
don't you just play like
in a
actual
really drawn out deck.
Moondial?
Wait, what?
If you really want to play a relic to draw cards every turn, why not just play actual Moondial?
Because it's too slow.
Is
Cookbook's
it way
better.
too blasé? Too passe now to play cards in your color? To draw cards?
Yes. No, what you need to do is you need to run the Cookbook from another color to confuse the living daylights out of the auto mana.
Alright.
So here's a thing that this card is good for is the like a new tomorrow like 8 of the Huru decks. Like if you're ramping, you definitely play this card. Like
Yes, because
this wins
casting 8
as hard as 8 of the Huru
run out of
really.
cards.
If you play a new tomorrow into this, like how do you not win?
That's a really good question because you've apparently lived long enough to tap out twice to do no foreign impact. So, you know.
Can we say like 5 words about rejection?
Sure.
All right.
5 words, I'm
sorry,
counting.
It's not me, it's you.
Checks out.
That was 6.
Shit. All right, I
master
take back the
blockers.
part where I was sorry.
What are your 5 words, SkeeJay?
Oh, I don't have 5 words. I just wanted to know if we can just like mention that it exists.
No, we each get 5 words, so it's your turn.
Never play this card ever.
Overrating cranial
This card
extractions,
is very
national
bad.
pastime.
Reign of frogs, but bad.
I can't think of a worse condemnation than that. Alright, what about Quicksilver Mirror? 7 PP relic. At the start of your turn, play a copy of one of your units. A key piece in a 28 Vara deck.
So,
The fact that
unrelated
it's
to
the start
this
of your
card,
turn.
how long does it going to take until that 28 Var deck turns into the 28 Tavrod deck, Ace?
Ooh, that's a
And,
good idea.
Hits top 10 Master?
That's a good idea. I'll get to that immediately.
I hate the fact that it's the start of your turn and not the end of your turn, but other than that, endless supply of whatever unit you want is great.
This would be really good if it was end of turn. Just repeatable
Yeah, at end of
copy.
turn,
Absolutely.
this would be insane. At start of a turn, it's weaker than the previous expensive top end relics by a lot. I think it's still potentially viable. I could see decks that use it. I will not be the one to brew them because they will involve you.
Yeah, generally, like Ilya brought up Make Infinite and Champion of Cunnings. This works pretty well with Vara or Kaifis or, really any of those cards that like you're already playing Mirror Image or Dark Return with.
I guess
it
is worse than Sarlacc Pit and the Chains, Martyr's Chains, so it probably never sees play since every deck is 3 faction now.
Yeah.
Alright.
I mean, it's really good if you play Island the Rising Storm and you just dome them every turn.
8 PPP, 6/12 with Pledge. Summon, deal 6. Ultimate, the third time she attacks, deal 12 to each enemy. So people are down on this. This card is a Flame Tongue Kabu. Like, it's always going to be a 2-for-1.
Obliterates.
If you draw it in your opening hand, you just play it as a power, and then the third time it attacks, your opponent takes 18 and dies.
As an 8-drop, I think it's perfectly reasonable. I wish it flew like the other islands, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, where did the Serpent go? Where did the Serpent
she's now
go?
the Rising Storm. Okay, she's getting up there.
But yeah, I mean, 8 power plus Obliterate is, I like it.
It's
for 6/12.
Massive power creep on Lava Blood Goliath.
No, no, you can use Lava Blood Goliath with
Stirring Sand.
With Blueberry, and get double damage.
Oh sure, okay.
Wait, can you do that here?
No, she just deals 6.
A flat 6.
Oh no, if you give her double damage.
Oh, well, you can do.
You're talking. I assumed you meant L-head because L-heading this doesn't make it. Deal
L-head. Yeah.
Oh, L does nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, but Zooberry would make it deal 12. Yes.
Actually, Zooberry plus Eileen makes me excited. Let's go build that deck. I will deal 12 to my opponent for 8 damage that also plays a unit if they're not dead. Like, that seems really good.
Skycrag Legends.
Dude, the third time she attacks, 24 damage to each enemy?
Yeah. I mean, I think 6/12 is a pretty good stat line. I think getting that for 8 with an Obliterate attached to it, and the fact that she just wins the game over the course of a couple turns is great.
Is Pledge a battle skill, or does she die to fall short?
She does die to fall short.
Alright, this card falls short.
Alright, how about Direwood Slash? Let's go from expensive...
fall short is
expensive control win cons to really aggro cards. 1/1, 1/1 with Berserk and Empower +1/+1. This turn. This card bashes for 4 on turn 2. Like, she hits hard.
That seems worse than, like, District Infantry.
Not into it.
What you're trying to do.
Okay.
I'm not in.
Alright, how about Secret Passage? Every ETS player is going bonkers and saying this card is broken as shit, and I think it's unplayable. It's 1S Relic. Once per turn, you may pay 2 to give one of your units unblockable, sacrifice at end of turn. Summon, give a unit unblockable this turn.
Yeah, I agree with Ace.
Wait a minute.
People went nuts over this card, talking about how...
Wait. Did this have sacrifice it at end of turn when it got spoiled? Because I don't think it...
Yes, it did.
The unblockable is permanent, so everyone's like, you can give a thing unblockable, then dark return it, and you built your own Bartolo, except like it took 3 cards and was fucking terrible.
This is just, you give something unblockable, and then you can keep giving things unblockable. This just gives you reach out of some random...
It's Ghost Form without Lifesteal that gives you infinite flings that are countered by removal. This card is terrible.
I mean, like in the Geomar deck or whatever, it seems fine.
Yeah,
it's not a spell though, so that's not good.
Right, like the decks that won it.
I'll give you that it's maybe better than Ghost Form, but it does not trigger your Geomars and your Kosu Battle Mages and such. So it may not even be better than Ghost Form. And if what we can say about a card is not better than Ghost Form, is that card good?
Getting blockers through, and then you'll play this. Like it makes 2 things unblockable instantly for 3, and like that's a good rate. It's got a good enough rate that it'll see play somewhere.
Really?
I don't know.
Where is it going to see play?
I have a hard time thinking it's worth the card that it's printed on.
I think it's worse than Ghost Form in Almost World's deck.
I mean, Ghost Form's pretty good because you need lifesteal to not die while you're busy not interacting with your opponent in any way.
I don't know. Let's just say I'm not a believer, but time will tell.
Are you a believer in Rat Cage? Because boy, does that play a 1/1 rat that can't block.
Oh, it's really... Well, Rat Cage is really, really, really good at playing rats that can't block.
It's certainly better than Argenport Sewers.
Best card in a heady group of it and Argenport Sewers.
It is better than Chalice at playing rats.
You know? I'm not sure there's anything Chalice is better at playing rats than.
Yeah, first off, I don't know why you thought that was Chalice's purpose. Second off, Rat Cage is seeing play, like a substantial amount at the moment. Whether it should be is another question.
Wait, so what's
but
the
there's actually
combo?
a
The
lot
answer
of
to
it
that
on the
question
ranked
is it should
ladder.
not be.
What's the combo?
What's the other half of the combo?
It's being played in the Primal Shadow, sometimes Time elf decks that run a lot of relics, and it's just being a bunch of free rats.
Are
And
they
then
playing
sometimes
Let's Try
And then
Lobotomy?
sometimes it's... What is that?
The rats aren't
Sacrifice
even
a
good.
relic to kill an enemy unit?
No, not that I've seen.
What?
I would rather have a lobotomy than put Rat Cage in my deck.
Actually, in fairness,
Wait
I've
a
never
minute.
played a unit against one of them. They could be playing Left Throw Lobotomy.
I think Lobotomy's
but-
interesting.
But the rat cages are seeing play there. They sometimes run Xenon Obelisk, and then they're becoming 3/3 rats. It seemed decent, in all honesty. Now, I've been playing the kind of deck it targets, so it would seem decent. But I thought it was worth noting, this card is seeing like a good amount of play right now. It was something like 10% of my games.
Yes,
Can
but
maybe
that'll-
more.
that'll end it pretty soon.
you're also currently that guy playing the 2/3 for 5 to go get Cauldron in a deck that doesn't need card draw. So cards see
It
play
does
at the
need card
beginning
draw.
of the
That's
expansion.
why I run Ancient Lores, because it does need card draw.
All right, I don't want to
That's
read
why
the
I
card
want
or discuss it, but I just want to bring up Bloodquill as the card that wins the Defiance Most Words card that does absolutely nothing award.
Is it the card that wins that? Because I haven't seen all the cards yet.
Once per turn, you may pay 2 and discard the bottom card of your deck to give one of your units lifesteal this turn. Summon, discard the bottom 2 cards of your deck. There is a combo
Yeah,
there
this,
where you,
this
where
wins
you
it so
scout,
far, at least.
where you
We'll
scout your
come up with another
reanimator target
better.
to the bottom,
Yeah, or you
strategize your reanimator
strategize,
target to the
and
bottom,
you get it
then
back.
blood-
All right, Carrington Steward, 2S12 deadly, empower +2/+2 this turn. Also, art features a handsome rogue fellow poisoning Cabal Countess.
Why?
What?
I
This
think
card
it's fine.
beats down if you hit your power, and then if you don't want to attack, it's a deadly unit on defense.
I've played the 1/2 deadly card in time before. This card is probably better than
Sand
that,
Viper?
but I probably still wouldn't play it.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, you've played Sand Viper and Constructed?
Yeah, back when Set 2 first came out, it was in like a big price. I used it as a kind of my early game.
All right, how about a real card? Mob Rule, 2S fast spell, kill an enemy unit with strength equal or less than your number of units.
You said a real card.
What? I've been playing Into the Furnace and Grenadin. This is so much better than Into the Furnace in Grenadin.
Okay.
Mob Rule
I
seems
thought
really
this
good.
was 1 mana. I'm a lot less interested now that it's 2, honestly.
Typically, wait. Grenadins has Combust. Why do you ever need this card?
Sometimes you want more than 8 removal spells. And then you play this.
Alright. So this is what, like a 2 of in Grenadins? And
Yes.
nowhere else?
Yeah.
Accurate.
I don't think it needs to be. Well, maybe just Grenadins, yeah.
Mournful
big
Death Cap. Here's a card for the mill enthusiast to eat up, but it's completely unplayable.
I mean, all mill cards are completely unplayable.
Obliviobot. 2S51. Empower, sacrifice, Obliviobot. This guy has a piece
Okay,
of
no,
dynamite
this is
in
the
his
best art.
ear and does not know
Oh,
it.
the art is incredible. Absolutely, the art's incredible.
He's got a stick of dynamite behind his ear.
If you don't care about hitting your 3rd power drop on turn 3, this card is ridiculous. It's a 5 strength unit
Rally
for 2.
Queen, Rally Queen All Star.
I mean, dies to vanquish, question mark?
I don't think Dies to Vanquish is a legitimate criticism of a 2-drop.
No, that doesn't
It's
count.
really not. Dies to Varus favors closer.
I mean, it dies to Shadow Sigil. Like, that's definitely true.
No, it does to your own shadow sigil.
Actually,
it's a
wait, other
non-vote
than
with
Rigorous
Varus
Choice,
favor.
what does this not die to?
Not playing a sigil?
Yeah.
Suffocate.
Yeah, this card is
Yeah,
cool.
it does
Right,
suffocate.
suffocate.
I think this sees play. Like, Suicide Black, right? Like, Turbo Aggro Shadow. Like, you can play this card.
You'd have to. So the problem is that they printed all of the hyper aggro cards as empower cards now.
This is
I
an
can't
Empower
even
card,
see
too.
any synergy.
I can't imagine this being worth it in even your Suicide Black. Like, I don't think the 5 damage is worth it.
It literally has Empower. This is an Empower aggro card.
It's
What
kind of
about
the
when this gets
opposite.
berserked from a Dusk Raider and then gets Haunting Screamed at you? Because that sounds kind of scary.
Man, there's
This
a lot of
dies to
exciting
your
cards.
opponent playing Refracted Sentinel.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not a believer in Oblivion, but I love the art. I love the name.
I mean, this is manifestly unplayable. But
Ooh.
there might be a deck.
I didn't see this card before. Warlock's Brew. 2S fast spell.
Alright, you
Give an
jumped past
enemy
two
unit
really sweet
and
cards.
each other
back
enemy
up.
unit the
Back
same
up.
name,
Back
-2,
up.
-2. This card fucks
Alright.
Praxis Obelisk. Get him out
Let's
of
talk
here.
about Scavenge,
Kills all the Grenadins, yeah.
which
Scat.
plays 2 1/1 rats that can't block. Take that, Rat Cage.
You even get a bonus
Yeah,
influence.
I don't know why you said we skipped 2 important cards.
Wait,
I mean,
you think?
I wanted to make fun of Rat Cage for sucking by showing you Scavenge, which also sucked, but
Do you think?
at least
I'll-
sucked slower.
what is this card? Tavia Lethrai Raid Caller is good.
She's
No.
a 2
I
cost.
mean- I mean,
shadow.
goes in
in
the
the
elf deck.
context of an elf deck, this is good, obviously. The question is whether that deck is good. This card's strength is kind of secondary to that. Like, this card is an obvious 4 of in that deck and a 0 of anywhere else.
No
I'm
one's
not sure
even
it's
gonna
even an
experiment
obvious
with it
four
because this
of
is a legend that goes
this
nowhere
is
else.
worth noting, as this is effectively an elf lord.
Yeah, empower your elves, get
Yeah.
+1 strength this turn. It's a 2S/2/2.
Yeah.
So-
That empower needs to not end at the end of turn for me to really be interested.
So basically, you like get a choice late game. You either like play your power to give your elves +1 attack,
The problem
or
is this is
you
a
pay
2-drop
5 and
that,
discard
like-
the power to get 2 2/1s.
Sucks as a 2-drop. So it's like a late game 2-drop.
Yeah, she kind of competes with herself. Yeah,
Yeah, you need to choose whether you want to pump your elves or get more elves.
I think getting more elves is almost always gonna be better though. Like you get 2 elves as compared to +1 attack.
Yeah. So I think she's okay and worth mentioning, but I'm not excited about it. This doesn't draw me to the elf deck.
Nope, not at all.
There's a couple
Yeah,
good.
like, for the record, I wasn't arguing when I brought up Rat Cage that Rat Cage is good or that deck is good. I was bringing it up because it's being played, and therefore we should discuss.
Yeah.
So if I just like jam 4 Scavenge in a deck and go up on ladder and play a game and then write about it, do we have to talk about Scavenge some more?
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, there's a
Scavenge
couple good
is
utility cards on this
basically,
page. There is Mug, which is
Prep
a
dealer.
3-cost spell. They discard non-power card of your choice. So it's just coercion, which, while not great, has seen play occasionally. So I can see a world where this sees play, but it's probably worse than Devastating Setback.
This is worse than a lot of things. Yeah.
And then Rista Acantha's Herald, which is a lot more words. It's 3SS 2/3 that cannot block. With summon, draw a shadow sigil from your deck and empower +2 strength and Warcry this turn. So this is like a Borderlands Waykeeper type thing. Like a card that replaces itself by drawing a sigil immediately is very strong. And like sure it can't
then
block, but it's
proceeds to
also a good
not block.
attacker.
This is a weird card. I don't like this card. This card's
So
probably okay.
it attacks as a 4/3 Warcry that you spent 3 on and drew a card. That's not the worst thing in the world, but like I can't
Yeah.
think of a deck. I can't fathom a deck that would actually be excited to play this card. Like
So
Shadow
Sunstar has like terrible 3-drops, right?
I was gonna say,
So
like,
maybe-
Shadow in general kind of needs help in 3s, but I don't know. I'm still not super excited. I'd rather play Cabal Countess or Ashara Ruthless Assassin over this card.
If you're playing 5-drops in your Shadow deck, this card is great. You draw a sigil. It immediately replaces. Like, imagine if Vara's Favor was a 2/3 that was a 4/3 Warcry when attacked. Like,
And cost 3, and
It
was a
cost
unit,
3.
and wasn't actually Vera's favor at all.
yeah, imagine that.
It didn't kill anything.
I don't know. I think this card is
Wow.
pretty good.
This card is probably better than it looks, but it just looks super unappealing. 3 mana 2/3 yawn.
Well, it's a 4/3. It's just like a weird value 3-drop for aggressive decks, because not being able to block is a big downside.
Yeah. I do
Alright.
want to talk about Warlock
Okay,
through though.
I
That card
just
is
got back. I was gone for a minute, but I'm gonna second lights here. I think this is a pretty decent card. I don't know exactly what plays it, but I will not be surprised if it's played.
Wait, so RNG, do you want to shit on Praxis Obelisk as well?
I think this card's great. This hits multiple units. If someone's just like going wide with Grenadins, you just say no. And it kills what's that card? God damn it.
Rip Knife Assassin?
That's one of them. I'm thinking
Well,
the
it does.
Berserk Giver.
Oh, Duskgrader.
Duskgrader, yeah.
Duskgrader, yeah. So it kills Duskgrader, 1-drops, whatever. It kills go wide strategies. This could be really good if you're aggressive against other go wide strategies, because you really get stopped by like assembly line type stuff, and this cleans that up.
Yep. I mean, if tokens are popular, well, okay, we can't call them tokens anymore, but you know what I mean. Then this card is
Yeah.
good.
Token decks.
Yeah. All right, Dumping Ground. This is
Here
an
we are.
OTK with Leviathan
We
and
finally
Ridra.
got to the largest amount of text with nothing that it.
What?
the-
Alright, I
This
will
ca-
shut up.
alright,
while
4 SS Relic.
While Ace goes off.
Summon, you may sacrifice a unit to give enemy units -2/-1. So, like, it's a plague if you have a Temple Sky or something sitting around. And then it has pay 10 and sacrifice Dumping Ground to win the game. I think that's a fine relic. I don't know.
It's really hard to not win the game when you cast Haunting Scream on anything twice.
Yeah. So what it actually says is play 2 units from your void and give them charge, sacrifice them end of turn. But if you just get Stone Scar Leviathan and Old Grinva, I forget exactly, Judge of Battles? That's an OTK.
Work?
Yes.
Does that work? You've confirmed?
I have been informed that it works. I have not tested it myself yet.
Because it feels like the Entomb goes off after Grinva. Because Entombs just go off so late.
Well, I know that sacrificing Leviathan with Grinva in play was an OTK before. So I don't see why it wouldn't
then it
work
works,
just
then
because
it
the
works.
Grinva dies.
Maybe they stack and they go off at the same time and like turns their health to 7, deals 7. Could work.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I've been told that's how it works, and if so, that's a sweet combo deck where you ramp up to 10 and then you win the
And
game
this
instantly.
is permanent -2/-1 as well, which is worth noting. So
Yeah.
if you have like a Spore Folk in play, this does something.
Also, I love this art. I don't know what's going on, but like it looks really cool.
Something's coming out of the
Venom
ground.
climbing up a wall.
It's
Yeah.
coming out of the
Climbing out of
ground.
a
Spider-Man
spider
plant.
thing.
But they had to blur his face to protect his identity. Yeah, I buy it.
I did win a game with this card earlier because I got it off of a contraband, Kyphus and Arizon, and was able to bash for like 20 damage because the Kyphus had unblockable and double damage. So that was cool.
It does
Other
look
than
like
that,
the
I
monster
don't
from
know.
Princess
It's got the
Mononoke.
combo thing going on.
Yeah. All right. So speaking of combo, Governor Sahin, 4S 3/3 Explorer. Once per turn, you may pay 3 and sacrifice a relic to play the top relic of your deck. So is anyone
God, I
eyeing
want
this to
this to
ramp
work.
out Pit?
So it doesn't work because you got to have another relic to sacrifice a relic. So you got to get the relic from somewhere else, like that moth from earlier that gave you a little bauble.
Yeah,
You know,
you'd
like,
have
it's
to do
not a
something
guaranteed
like
tool,
that.
So you got to like generate another relic and play it, and I think it's just too much work for 7.
Wait, what's this moth? What color
It,
is
it almost certainly is
Time.
too much work.
The
I
3 cost
don't.
time that gives you a bauble, amber bauble.
It's a
Oh yeah,
time.
I think there's one for each color. I don't know.
Wait, what is it
But
called?
yeah, considering that this card needs to be played and then activated on the same turn realistically,
Summon,
Yeah.
create, draw an ancient
and
bone.
considering that like the relics you're trying to cheat out are going to cost like a 9, you should just ramp instead. This is too much work for too little reward. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah,
there any other
paying
cards you
7
like?
to play a 7-cost relic isn't really
Woo.
breaking anything.
And it could be worse if you play like other relics in your deck. Like imagine sacrificing this to go play one of the 1-cost hate relics. Unlucky.
Ugh.
Oh, baby. the
Unlucky
dream.
and bad deck design.
Yeah, a great deck design.
Kinda your own fault.
Oh, okay. Actually, Umbral Edge I want to mention. 4SS 2/2 relic weapon with Empower +1/+1.
Woo!
If you have ways to like sit around and empower, like similar to the
just
old like
Molten Fist
Visage
people.
Cleaver, or yeah,
Just
Visage
Molten
Visage
Fist
Hate Cleaver,
people.
you can just build a giant weapon here. I don't
Please
know.
just play Molten Fist.
Just play Molten Fist. Okay.
Well, this might be better.
Okay, so Dizo's Office. I think that SkeeJay said he played with this. 7SS
this is
Sight.
Is
Your
that what
units
we're
have Lifesteal, and then the Dizo's agenda is Scheme, Threaten, and Cut Ties.
Yeah,
Wow,
with
we just
starts with
skipped, like,
4
a
health.
lot of cards. That's okay.
Oh, did you think we skipped
any of
anything
them were
relevant?
good.
I think they were all pretty bad.
I'm just reading them now.
So yeah, this is the only site that I've been able to play with. It's been great, because it comes down and just kills something right off the bat with cut ties, and then on your next turn you get to draw a card off a scheme. So, yeah, I've been really impressed. I opened the one. I figured I would try it out, and really impressed. So I'll probably end up crafting a second one to like market for or something.
Given your unit's lifesteal is strong too.
It's a really strong ability when you're looking. Like, I don't know, the deck I have it in already has a bunch of lifesteal things because like Vara is already in the deck and Razan, a lot of times Kyphus as well. But yeah, I've been impressed. I'm. This kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. It comes down with a removal spell attached to it, which means that it's more likely to survive the turn and be able to do more things later on. Like
I agree with everything SkeeJay said.
I've gotten, like I said earlier, I've only gotten Dizo once. Like it's only survived 4 turns once, but that's because I won the game before that happened every single time. So, yeah, I like it.
I like how this is a card that makes 4 different cards, one of which makes yet another card. We Shadowverse now, boys.
Yeah, worthy of the 20. All right. Fear Made Flesh.
The most metal name in all of Eternal. My God.
Boy, I mean, it fits in with the theme because World Joiner had the sweetest name and the sweetest art ever, and it had the same garbage effect. When Fear Made Flesh hits the enemy player, each unit in their deck gets -1/-1. Yeah, because when you're hitting them with your 5/7 flying 7-drop, you definitely want to make their next draws weaker. What the hell?
I mean, you do, but it's not particularly relevant.
You know what this card beats? It beats Future Dawnwalkers.
There you go.
Oh, imagine your look on your opponent's face after you hit them with Fear Made Flesh, and then they draw a 1/0 Oni Runner.
Yes, because when your opponent drew that Oni Ronin but couldn't play it, that really made your 7-mana 5/7 flyer that couldn't have been blocked by Oni Ronin anyway more threatening.
Well, no,
Yes.
they have Combust in hand, and they drew Grenadine.
Oh,
Drone
no!
and can't play it.
Well, Grenadine Drone
Wait,
Combust still kills
play
this.
Grenadine Drone and get the other Grenadine.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you can. I don't think you can play it if it's.
You can play
it's
them
0
from
health.
hand. You can't play them
Like
from
I don't think you can even play it out of your hand.
You can
Yeah,
play
you
them
can.
from
They just die instantly.
Yeah.
Oh, you can play it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
just void for Dawnwalker shenanigans.
That's a shame.
Yeah. You can even Dark Return a -1 health unit. You just can't, like, Grasping at Shadows it.
All right.
Alright.
You loved the big metal donger. Now you get an improvised club.
The budget sword of the Sky King. It's Molten Fist for 2 more that doesn't synergize with Reforge.
I mean, if you can't afford a legendary card, this is almost as good for a lot less stone.
This card is basically The Last of Us in card form. Like, you're playing with, like, jerry-rigged little weapons that aren't very good because you don't have access to modern technology. And like, you're just, like, in this desert wasteland, so you're like, you know what? I can't find a giant sword. I'm just gonna jam some nails into a stick and call it good. You know, it'll still one-shot the zombies.
It's really durable, too. Like, 6 armor? Holy.
That's almost as much as 8.
Yeah, it's most of the way there.
It's like
Alright.
it's like 2/3 of the way or
Yeah,
something.
let's get to the real meat, though. This is a multi-faction set. We got, like,
Hold on.
3 pages of
I
multi-faction
do want to
cards.
take, like, 1 second to talk about Acantha.
Okay.
He kills
Because
things.
I got really excited because it said kill an enemy unit, and then it was just a 7/7 flyer for 9, and then I got a lot less exciting. But boy, is that an elf dragon.
Yes.
Elf Dragon is one of the coolest unit types, if not the coolest unit. I actually don't think this card's awful. Like,
There's much better things you can be doing for 9, though.
for 9, of course, yeah. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to completely discount it because 7/7 flying is not a small thing, and killing something is
It's a
not
big
a small
dude,
thing.
and it has immediate board impact, but, like, I think
But
this
yeah,
is
nine
weaker
is
than
too much.
Eilin, and
Yeah, I mean,
that's an 8-drop that you
make
sometimes
it
play.
make it 8, and I'll look twice at it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
Like, worse than Azendel, maybe worse than Akaria, maybe better than Akaria, I don't know.
Let's get to our very wordy cards portion. First up,
Oh, yeah.
Daria Warrior Poet. 4 FFTT 3/4. Berserk Deadly Pledge. Did you get all that? Amplify 2. Give one of your other units Berserk and Deadly. So she is a deadly Berserk. So she can attack for 6 and is hard to block. And for every 2 extra you pay, you make your other guys deadly and Berserk and hard to block. It does a lot of things. Is it good?
Does it do any of those things well?
I think this is quite good. I like this card a lot.
The first time I looked at it, I was a lot higher on it, but like it was spoiled a week or 2 ago. And
So
just the more I look at it, the less impressed I am.
Well, it's not a 4-of card, because you really want to play it for 6. If you play it on 4, it's just a blocker. But, like, you can pledge it when it's not going to be good. And in the later game, if you have an Overwhelm unit, it can be pretty sweet, or just something that can even attack. You know, giving Berserk is a big game. But,
But like, are you playing this over Titan or even I don't know, like what other aggressive 4-drops are there? Crimson Firemaw? Like, I don't know that it really stacks up the existing Praxis 4-drops.
it's not an aggressive card. It's like a late game go over the top. You just give your board Berserk and Deadly and let your opponent figure it out.
And like,
You know, it's like the
Berserk
Praxis
Deadly
late
doesn't really
game.
go together. Like, they're just gonna block her with a 4/4 on the first attack anyways.
It goes with Overwhelm, so like it's good on the Time Diesel, the World Bearer Behemoth, and like nowhere else.
I wonder if the more fair comparison is to Diogo.
The problem is Diogo's way better than this card at winning.
Yeah,
the game.
and Diogo isn't good
That's
enough.
that's kind of what I'm thinking. Like, do you play this card over Diogo? Like,
So you
on a
have to
deck
play
that
it on
has
6
this
and have it be
effect?
good if you want to play this card. And then you just play it sometimes on 4 as a blocker, and it's like, okay.
Sir Rhino would just like to say that this is almost as good as Corrupted Umbran, and I agree.
Corrupted Umbran's pretty good, I have to say.
I have seen Corrupted Umbran in Constructed, so...
Yeah, I seen it in one of those like Dark Return type decks before Vera got played, just as like a big lifesteal dude that keeps coming back. Deadly Berserk Dawnwalkers. There you go. This actually is pretty good on Dawnwalker.
Okay, how about Bear Arms? Best name, pun, art. Whenever you play a unit, Bear Arms gets +1/+1.
Yeah,
So it's good in like
sucks.
Go Wide, Recano with Assembly Line or something?
But
is this
it's
a deck?
not, because Go Wide just wants to play Rally and kill the idiot.
Yeah, you're
Why
right.
are
This
you
card
boosting
sucks.
one dude?
I love the card, but it competes with itself and it doesn't really fit anywhere.
Highland Sharpshooter, worth noting purely because if there is a good deck with the 3-faction legend, just let me look up the name here quick. God, what is her name? The FJP legend. Does anyone know offhand? Whatever. There's Quinn. If there's a Quinn deck, it probably plays this card just because it's like a reasonable renown card. But
When it attacks, give the top unit of your deck battle skills and plus attack plus health equal to hers.
yeah, so like it gives a super Warcry the turn that you buff her. But I think mainly it's just to bring back Quinn in
But
the
you have
Quinn
to
deck.
buff her, so yeah.
It
Good
just
with
makes
weapons.
any equipment into Hammer of Might, basically.
Good with weapons, yeah.
All
So you really want to play a weapon on 3.
I'm not going to go over all the smugglers, but I'll just
Smugglers
look
are
at the
busted.
first one. These cards are ridiculous, right? Like, black markets are way better than markets. We have enough redundancy of effects
Whoa,
that
whoa, whoa,
having a better body and having
That's
two...
not
True.
Circumstances
That's
they are.
not true.
No?
I don't. There's no sweeping statement you can make. I think that
Black
some
markets
decks.
are different from markets.
They're
Markets
diff-
are
yeah.
way better as tutor effects because you get 7 copies of the cards. Black markets are way better when you're looking for silver bullets because you have
Exactly.
a wider range
Decks
of things
that
you can
want-
grab.
Exactly. Decks that want more consistency are going to play a regular market and a regular merchant. Decks that are looking for silver bullets are going to play the black market with.
I think
With the
generic
smugglers.
mid-range good stuff deck, the fifth...
So black
the
markets
second
are
version
way
of a
better
card
when
is
you want that
better...
harsh rule, but also that bore.
Yeah, well,
But
so...
if you want just like 8 copies of something, you just play a regular market.
Here's my thinking. Like, generic good stuff mid-range deck doesn't really care if it has a 4th Titan or a 4th, like, I don't know, Psychalis or whatever. Like, the replacement effect is, like, not that much worse.
Right,
So you get a way better body in your merchant and access
The
to 2
mid-range
factions
decks
in your
want
market.
the black markets. The combo decks or the control decks may want the regular markets, depending on what they're trying to do.
Yeah, I think that
There's
maybe
still a place for
maybe
regular
decks that
markets.
play smugglers also play merchants, but I think smugglers are going to be in more decks than merchants. I think basically just combo decks are going to play only regular merchants.
Yes, I think that's probably true. They're also way better in aggro decks because their bodies are better.
Like, even in a Mask of Torment deck, right,
As a whole, their bodies are better.
market
Some of
for
them are
mask.
pretty bad.
You can just put, like,
Legion.
a Relic Tutor and a Disjunction in your market and, like, be able to get mask with it. Like,
Yeah, and any deck that has like near replacement cards is pretty good. Anything you can go grab something that's very similar to a card in your deck, and then you're not really harmed by the black market. So there's a lot that you can do with it, and they're really good. And we're not going to understand until like 3 months from now how good they really are, just because that's how long it takes.
Yeah, I think the only one that's, like, bad is the Xenon one. Like, 2/2 Ambush kind of sucks, but, like, double damage, lifesteal, the plus spell damage, like, those are all pretty solid. Maybe plus spell damage
I
is, like,
think
a
the
level
spell
below
damage
the other
one's
ones.
fairly mediocre.
Yeah,
I love that
Especially
card.
considering that the blue and red merchants, the base merchants, are both pretty good. So I don't expect that one to see as much play. But I think the other 3 smugglers are both excellent.
yeah.
Are you guys not playing like what is that, Downpour? What's that card that does 1 damage to all enemies and scouts?
Yeah, Torrential Downpour.
Yeah.
Yeah, Downpour.
Are you guys not playing that guy in your Skycrag decks? Because boy, is he good with the red merchant. You can just overload on spell damage now. I think it's good. I like it.
All right. I think Eugene's Workshop isn't even good enough to mention. Like, getting an Eugene on turn 8 doesn't excite me, and the cards are all
it's horrible.
unplayable.
That card is so bad.
It's obvious what you want to do with it. If you want to play it, you know why, and if you don't want to...
If you want to play it, you have to ask yourself why you're not just playing the Oni Lord instead, which +2/+2 is pretty comparable to double damage a lot of the time.
You play them both.
No, you just play the Oni Lord. Because the Oni Lord you really want to be is your top end, right? You want to kill them when you play it, so you don't want to play a 4-drop that doesn't do anything. Like, what are you doing? Song of Warring? Reinforce in the Oni deck? No.
Reinforce is weird.
I will mention that Eaton follows in Navani's footsteps as a horrendous Rakano 4/4 that doesn't do anything.
Agree.
I love Navani, man.
I like the next page a lot more. So Iceberg Shiny Finder would be the best Yeti name of the set if it wasn't standing right next to Chunk Chunk. This chunky lad I don't think is good enough, but just want to give a shout out to best Yeti name of the set.
Shiny Finder. Jesus.
I don't think that card does anything. Howling Peak Smuggler's good.
Smugglers are good.
Yeah, to talk about
Card
Howling
doesn't
Peak
do
for a second,
anything.
I think this is quite possibly the strongest of the sites.
Oh, the site.
Like it's got
Merchant.
very, very relevant spells going on here.
Oh,
Wait, we
we're on
just
the next
topped
page.
ahead like a bunch.
Okay,
Oh,
we're
I'm
talking
sorry. I
about
thought
Howling
you
Peak.
said. I'm sorry. I thought you said Howling Peak.
He said
Yeah,
Howling
Howling
Peak
Peak
Smuggler, but you can
Smuggler.
talk about Howling Peak. This one has removal. Instead of draw a card for its value thing, it's got Mirror Image, which is also very strong. And then
Yeah,
And
Caleb's
then, like,
Favor
this
as its
might be the
throw
best
away.
one.
is draw a card.
This
It
card
is.
makes.
That's true.
Which Caleb does it play? Yeah, Reborn.
Dude,
This
you
card
can
makes no
take that
sense.
Fire Sigil and just shuffle it right back in and draw a new card. Yeah, I think this card is very
At
good.
least this card says like Caleb on it in his agenda, and like Mirror Image kind of ties in with the fact that he clones himself. So like this is the one that's the closest to cohesive, except for the fact that it has the fucking like Snowfort Yeti or whatever the 2/5 is. Give a unit +3 health temporarily. That makes no sense and is on your 6-drop for some reason.
This
Oh, I
is
just
also the
realized
site
that
with the
this
most
is-
Also,
health.
does Caleb use guns? I don't recall him. Does he use guns?
He does use
gun
guns.
down.
You have like a
Like a
shotgun
lot.
over his shoulder in the original art.
End of the barrel is Caleb pointing a gun at Island.
Yeah.
I just realized, and this may have already been common knowledge, but the reason changed, so you don't have to. You're not forced to kill your opponent when you.
Yeah,
Gun
Gundown was
down?
nerfed for
Yeah.
this. Gundown died for
For
this.
card. Yeah.
It makes all your stuff immune to Torch. It has the most health of any site. It,
but yeah,
it plays
no, I
a
think
bunch of
it's-
good cards. Card is great. I think it's just pretty clearly great.
Yeah, I think it's probably the best site. Skycrag is a
Xenon
weird
site's
color
better.
combination because it's not very good
I really
To-
like the Xenon
for
site,
going big.
but we'll
Which
get
one?
to
The
that.
Xenon one?
Yeah.
I do love
All
Caleb Reborn too. I haven't been able to play him since Levitate got nerfed. I'm excited to play him some more.
Or since that Skycrag Spellcrag deck wasn't the thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a thing up until Levitate got nerfed.
It wasn't the thing.
I was in the middle of a stream 8-3 with the deck when Levitate got nerfed. They cut me down in my prime.
So let's be honest, it got nerfed for
that deck is-
renown.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, that actually makes sense.
All right, we did skip over a card I want to mention, which is Burn Them All. 5 FFP
Just
fast spell.
decimate the idiot.
Deal
Excellent
5 to an
name,
enemy.
Excellent art.
Amplify 3, deal 5 to an additional enemy. So it can't.
Oh, it doesn't even hit the same enemy.
Yeah, it
multiple
can't tend their
Oh
face.
my god.
But this is Skycrag's answer to that giant Reliquary Raider.
No, just play. Dude, just play Obliterate. Like, come on.
What? A deck that can reasonably kick this, it's so much better. Imagine shooting down 2
Wait,
things.
what Skycrag aggro deck can reasonably kick this?
No, you don't play it
What are you
Skycrag aggro.
talking
You
about?
play it in the deck that's playing Howling
You
Peak.
play it in Spellcrag.
You play in the
Wait a
deck that's
minute.
playing Howling Peak. You're burning them all, and then you're howling. It's a great deck.
What are you doing?
It is a fast spell, so like
It
it's
kills
better than
sites.
Obliterate.
You can kill sites. Obliterate can't kill sites. Get that Obliterate
It ki-
garbage out of here.
If you want to kill
It
sites,
kills
just
sites and is a
mortar
fast
them.
spell.
Just mortar them. I mean, mortar doesn't kill Howling Peak, but nobody's gonna play Howling Peak except for you.
All right, fine. No one else is a believer in burn them all in Howling Peak. I
I'm
see
not
how
a
it is.
believer in there being a deck that kicks this. It doesn't just want to decimate the guy.
Well, this
Okay.
may cost 2 more.
Do you think Syl, Hand of the Cabal, is the best waifu of the set?
Man, you're not gonna compare Clan Huntcaller to Bandit Queen really quickly and make Clan Huntcaller feel extremely inadequate.
Imagine if instead of +1/+1 quick draw, Bandit Queen casts Song of War.
I mean, sometimes you just want to kill your opponent later when you draw your unit and hope they don't have removal. All right.
All right, back to the
So-
waifu question though, the real meat of the review.
How is she not an elf? She looks like an elf to me.
I don't know.
We needed a
What's your
human
views?
waifu. We had too many elf waifus already.
I guess so.
All right. Anyways,
I
the
mean-
card is a 5 FFSS
Waifu number 1.
4/5 with unblockable and pledge. And when Syl hits the enemy player, you get +1 power this turn for each of your units that dealt damage. So if you have like 5 units, you get +5 power, etc.
I don't know how often that's going to be relevant. Although Yushkov just given a random like +1/+2 power has been surprisingly relevant.
Important.
A lot.
Important to know, she gets +1 power for each unit that dealt damage to anything. So even if they get blocked, you still get the power. And even if you play a Rizon pre-combat, you get 1 power back for that.
Oh, I didn't think about that. That's cool.
And and they can deal damage to themselves even.
Is
Or
there a
you.
unit that deals damage to
Yep.
itself?
Infernal Tyrant deals damage to your other units.
Ooh, Infernal Tyrant
Oh,
Syl.
that's an amusing
ramp.
combo.
We found
That is
another
adorable.
ritual. The set is full of garbage. Go through a million
No, there's a
rituals.
lot of big mana enablers in this set.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways to get a lot of power.
Dude,
I
3
mean, this-
bad
All of
card
the big
combos that
mana
make a bunch of
things
power
are
is a
really
thing.
convoluted.
Yeah, you know how last set was the Crownwash Longsword set? This is the bad ritual set.
I mean, last set was also the bad ritual set. We had Tumble Bang, we had End of the Barrel, we had like.
I think it might be time to. This is the bad ritual game.
Ooh, Rusty
Yeah.
Grenamotive? That one got buffed?
Rusty Grenamotive is so good. You play it with Unseen Commando.
Oh my god,
and
that's
it
actually
hits
kind of
them
sick.
for a bunch. Yeah.
Anyway, so I've been playing with this card. Unfortunately, I don't draw it terribly often. I only have 2 copies, but the unblockable, like just being an unblockable 4/5, is very, very relevant. I've actually been really impressed. The ramp part of her has felt a lot more like flavor text, except for situations where like I'm stuck on 5 and I can play a Rizon now, or I can play a show, the dragon, whatever thing.
It
Wait,
probably wasn't more of like a
alternatively-
Great Kiln
Wait,
Titan
why
deck.
are you playing this card in your 3-color decks?
Great
Because
Kiln
it's a new card, I
Titan.
want to try it out.
GKT, baby.
Like, isn't this like way worse than Tavrod if you wanted to play something big in the 5 slot?
But
No,
Tavrod
because
isn't a
Tavrod
waifu.
is
Unless you're into
Tavrod
that.
is
I'm not
blockable.
kink shaming.
But
Tavrod is a blockable card.
but why do you care? Like, you're not trying to win with your 5-drops usually. If you're playing
Why not?
this like Rizon style thing.
One of 5-drops are unblockable and ramp me.
Wait. All right.
Actually, I
I don't know-
I
I
like
don't
the
know
card a
what's
lot.
going
I think she's very relevant. I haven't much about the later, but I think the power is probably going to come up in some other decks.
All right.
Uh,
Serene Meditant, the biggest awakened student. This turn.
Yes, I don't think so. It's 5 TTJJ for a 4/4 with Overwhelm Pledge and Empower +4/+4 this turn. So it's like if you're hitting your power drops, it's an 8/8 Overwhelm or like 12/12 if you hit another one with like
If you double
Seraph's
up on
Beacon
it,
or
yeah.
something. I don't think this card is good enough.
I think this card is way
Yeah.
worse than Reality Warden, a card that isn't good enough.
Yeah, Reality
Yeah,
Warden
I
comes with
don't-
a
I don't
free
think this
unplayable
is
relic.
line.
Wait. What? Oh, yeah. I just realized they printed a relic that has the same effect. Yeah, so this card, not good enough.
Okay, what is your guys' opinions on Honeypot?
Honeypot
Do you
is
think this gonna-
absurd in the relic deck.
Okay, so this is just like
there has
the,
to be a
the
relic.
weird
Like,
memes
like,
on.
Is it though?
I think so.
I think there has to be a relic deck, and it has to do some pretty weird things for this card to be good, right? Like you need.
What's like an equivocate?
You just
let's
need a
say,
random 3-cost relic in play, and then it's dealing 4 damage, and like that's damage. You've got equivocate to cover the
Yeah,
bat.
but you
the other
can't
guy.
use it on turn 2, which is
So,
really important.
you
Your
can use it
cheap
on
removal, you really want to be
You
able
can
to
use
use
it on
it.
turn 2 to kill an X1. And there's a bunch of 2-1s in the set.
So my main question about this card is why is it called Honeypot? Like Honeypot is when you use attractiveness
It's a
to lure
honeypot
someone
trap.
in.
Can you not see how
And
there's
the-
like a relic
but
lying out in the open?
There's
and
no
then you-
waifus on the card.
What?
I guess Cat Burglar. I guess it's Cat Burglar now that I recognize it, and she has been a waifu in the past. So okay, maybe.
Yeah, and it's like exploding in her face. I
Whoa,
inscribed
too lewd,
explosive-
too lewd, too lewd.
Wait, what?
All right, I don't think this card is good.
No.
I agree.
I don't think it sees play in the relic deck, honestly.
I think it
don't
sees
think
a
it's good
lot
enough.
of play in the relic decks you see on Eternal Warcry. Usually the one
Yeah,
that's
but when you see something on Eternal Warcry, you generally do the opposite.
Okay, what
No, that's
about
not true at all.
Torgov's Trading Post? You can get a Torgov on turn 5 with this. This into playing 3 unplayable spells.
I mean, they're not unplayable, actually. Like, Ask for Directions scouts, I guess. Call of the Ancients.
Well, Ask for Directions is like a looting enabler. Like, you can loot it away and then get it back and loot it away again.
If you really wanted to discard random power cards from your deck, you might as well play Call of the Ancients on the same turn, right? Like, that's just all upside.
I guess. I mean, this is kind of power creep on Call of the Ancients.
Like, slow Weather the Storm is never going to do anything. So, like, this basically scouts and plays Call of the Ancients.
When will the power creep on Ask for Directions stop? This is a strictly better Ask for Directions.
I know, because you can just draw it afterwards.
Oh my god.
There are a couple things that play Power from the Void, or care about Power in the Void, so this, like, does stuff with that. So, like, if you're in that
it's not
deck,
out of the question.
this is your
There's the
card.
3-mana relic that is it the beginning or end of each turn that it plays a power from your void?
The end of each turn, I think.
Arcanum Hourglass. Right?
Okay,
beginning.
because because you could do a deck that's that in Torgov's Trading Post, and you could piece something together there, and it would probably
so
be
many
bad, but who
unplayable
knows?
non-unit permanents in one deck. I'm in love.
Wait.
Well, what's it called?
But the site is sometimes considered a unit, so some of them are kind of units.
Is this 2 health site lasting 4 turns? No way.
Yes.
No,
Because
I'm
your
not a
opponent is
believer.
on temporal and can't beat it.
That's true. This is an anti-Bradykin.
And then they play Torgov, and he rejoices because he can finally interact.
Exactly, but it's okay because none of the other previous steps did anything. I don't think Trading Post is good.
Yeah,
I think
and
too
then-
often
and
it
then he
comes
moves
into
to the Call
play,
of the Ancients
scouts,
token.
and then gets attacked.
I mean, you're already in a bad deck, so you might as well.
I just think its best case scenario was still pretty bad. Like,
Yes.
Yeah.
Even if I knew it was gonna be the nuts, like, or the best that it could possibly be, I still wouldn't play it.
The best this can possibly be is a Scout 2 gain 4 life when they attack it on turn 2.
What's it called? The only scenario that I see this seeing play is a deck that's using the power and void synergies.
Yeah,
Which,
Forgotten
as of right
Find.
now, we don't know of any way to make that viable. But there are new tools for it in this set. It could be something people try.
Oh, the Xenon one's the ambush one. I keep forgetting. Alright. I just looked at the Xenon Smuggler.
Alright, I think that the rest of the top row is pretty forgettable. But Sadistic Ritualist?
Whoa. You're not excited for an 8-drop that needs a high-cost relic in play to be better than a 5/5?
Not really. No. Alright, so Sadistic Ritualist, 3 TS 1/4 pledge. Pay 2 and exhaust Sadistic Ritualist. Sacrifice a unit to draw a card. Is this the card that Shadow Chalice needed? Dark Chalice to be viable?
No, this is not the card that Shadow Chalice
just
needed.
play Stone Scar Scrapper, dude.
But you get to double dip drawing a card off all your unplayable Garbo units.
Right, but Stone Scar Scrapper already double dips by drawing 2 cards.
Yeah, okay, Scrapper
card's
is a
interesting.
lot better. I do love Scrapper. That card is busted. Alright, yeah, you're right. Skip this card. It's terrible. Alright, Dread. 4 TTSS, 4/1. Charge Lifesteal Pledge. At end of your turn, sacrifice Dread and draw another unit from your void. I think
hate
this card
this
is
card.
not good because it has to live. It can't. If it
Yeah, it
dies
has
in
to live for
combat,
the
you
other-
don't get the Dark Return.
So, like, you can just play it as a Dark Return and not attack with it.
This is the card to trick
And
people into playing
it's not gonna live through an
DPS
attack.
Scream.
Well,
People are
4
like,
cost
oh,
Dark
I want
Return
to
is
scream my dreads.
abysmal.
Just scream your Berserk Renders and kill people. Come on.
You scream your Berserk Dreads, but
That's not even good.
I
That's
mean-
not even better.
Why, but then you have to ask the question, why do you have dreads?
you shouldn't.
Yeah. Alright. Dread's not good.
Okay. What about World or Xenon Temple? So
I
5
think this card's
TTSS, 3 health site. Whenever an enemy unit dies, steal it and put it in your void. So it powers up your like Dark Returns and Grasping at Shadows. Then World Joiner's Agenda, which I believe is the most expensive card that comes into play off a site, is Xenon Initiation, Scare, and Xenon Augury. So you've got like card draw, life gain, removal, and then like a weird utility card, but better than most of the other weird utility cards. Like I'd rather play
So you-
Scare than like.
You just play it on
Weather the
5
Storm.
as a Xenon initiation, and then the next turn you get a Xenon Augury, and like you're in good shape.
Yeah, like Vanquisher's Blade has
Yeah,
proven
it
that you can
seems
pay
very
5
reasonable
for
to
2
me.
cost removal and it's fine. Like,
Or if your opponent has nothing in play, you just play it as a Xenon Augury and then float a scare next turn until you want a Xenon initiation.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, it's
you
totally
can
reasonable.
you can kill an Aurelian merchant with it. So you stone rain them. I mean, you curse of taxation them, and then you still have 2 value cards left.
I mean, Scare doesn't do anything, but you've got 2 totally playable cards on it. Like, obviously you don't want to play Xenon Augury on its own, but people play Xenon Initiation all the time, right? And Vanquish Blade has shown me, at least, that just playing 5 for your removal is fine.
Yeah, I think this card is fine. And you get the World Joiner right on turn 9, right? Like, turn 5 you play it, turn 6 you get the second spell, turn 7... No, it comes out turn 8. This ramps out World Joiner.
And I mean, World Joiner's not, like, exciting, but it is a big dude.
Yeah, I mean, I have gotten World Joiner off
Joiner's
unstable form and gotten World Joiner off unstable form against me, and both times it was really crippling. So I'm a World Joiner fan when you don't actually have to put it in your deck.
When you don't have to play the card,
Yeah. If it's not in your deck, it's great.
I really like World Joiner.
Stealing units is, like, pretty good.
9 for it.
It hoses Revenge, it hoses Recursion, you know? So, like, it does something while it's in play.
Yeah, this is a lot better than the, like, Grafdigger's Cage Curse Relic. I forget the name of it.
And because you can't torch it, like, it might stick around.
Yeah, I think it's a strong site.
And that's the thing, even if it doesn't stick around, like, you played Xenon Initiation and then your opponent traded a card for your Temple, and, like, that's totally fine. Or it drew a card with Augury and then gained you some life. Like, these aren't terrible.
No, I think this card is good. I don't think it's as good as the Peaks one, Howling Peaks, but I think it's
Howling
fine.
Peak sucks.
All right.
But you guys love your mirror image and will be right.
Yeah, I think if you're able to curve
I think,
Phantom,
yeah,
I think if
I
you're able
think
to
this
curve
is
Titan
third
into this-
strongest site, and I think it's very reasonable.
Third strongest site? What's the second strongest? Is the
I
Roland
don't know
one?
what's strongest between Dizos and Howling Peak, but those 2 I think are top 2.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to play Dizos. Cost 7. Boo.
Okay, how about Ania Arctic Sheriff? 5 JJ PP, 4/3. That's kind of a bad stat line, with Pledge. Summon stun an enemy unit, it stays stunned while you have Ania, and Renown +2/+2 in Aegis. So it's like the world's biggest Ice Sprite.
This just doesn't work. While the stun is floating, they can just torch it. Like you can give it Renown in response, but then you got to hold up mana, and now you're paying 6 for a 4/3, and no, I don't buy it.
Well, no, you're paying 6 for a 6/5.
With Aegis.
Yes, but you need to have another card.
Well, the Aegis
so-
would be popped in this scenario.
Oh, sure.
So like you can, yeah. Like I don't think this works. I don't think it comes together the way people want it to.
We need to
You
bring
don't have
back
a
our
card
Quins
to
somehow, though.
I agree. I think this.
still
I think
don't know
it's too
what
small.
Quinn is.
We'll get there. All right, Gate Guardian, armored bears with wings. That's all I have to say about that. It's
Isn't
not a
Gate
good
Guardian
card.
the name of a Yu-Gi-Oh card?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
It's probably a good draft card, actually.
Like 3
but
different things.
All right, let's go to a card I'm actually very excited about. That might be one of the top 20 cards in the set. Lost Scroll, 2
So-
JS.
Card's great.
Play a Justice or Shadow Sigil for your deck depleted. We have Rampant Growth.
Yeah, we have Rampant Growth, notably not in time. So
I guess it doesn't fix, right? It only gets J or S, and you already have to have J or S. But
Well, it doesn't need to fix. You don't give a shit about that.
yeah, this is a
Like,
2-cost
good in this
spell-based ramp.
Yeah.
This card is insane.
Yeah,
Like with this in
we
Power
already-
Stone, you can
we
now
already kind of
ramp on
had
2
that.
without playing a unit that dies to favors or torches consistently.
Yep.
But this
Abel's,
is
Abel's
ramped
turn
with
3
Fox and
Varas.
power. So when you've already got your big cross out, it does something. Whereas Power Stone never did anything in the late game.
Yeah.
True.
No, great card. Not much to say. Back for more. If you're into Sleeping Draft, here's Sleeping Draft even more. But I don't think the card is good.
Sleeping Draught.
So I
no,
thought
it's
that
not
too,
draft.
and I was corrected that it's actually Draft.
It's pronounced draft. That's actually how
Oh my god.
yeah you
Yeah.
spell draft of beer.
Yeah, try
ought to be
being
a law.
educated next time, RNG.
All right, I'll have you know I called it cache for years.
Wait, what? What
Cash.
word
It
is that?
sounds like a Canadian word.
No, it was just wrong.
Alright. Regent's Tomb. This plays another one that plays an 8-drop on turn 7. So it only has 2 health, but its empower units get +1 strength this turn. So that's a pretty shitty static ability. But the agenda is Lingering Influence, Sabotage, and Swear Vengeance, which are kind of all 3 real cards. So this one doesn't really have a garbage
they're
trick.
real cards, but
This
they're
is 2 real
also
cards
one
and then
mana
1 free
cards.
roll. I think this card's
Like,
good. The Empower doesn't do anything.
I struggle with this one. It doesn't protect itself well.
People
Like,
played 4
yeah,
cost
yeah,
devastating setback. This is so much better
Yeah.
than that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the agenda has the best cards, but
It also has
such
the
a
best
small,
unit. You get an
small
8-drop out of this.
Dude, Elias is a badass at any
Oh, yeah.
cost. Like,
I mean, 8/4 Lifesteal Revenge flying is great to get out of this, but it has 2 health. It's not going to live that long.
this is also
But it
the
doesn't-
site
Yeah,
that
I don't see
best
this one
parlays
living
into
to
a
make
feature
Elias
film.
is pretty realistic. I see this being play it, sabotage them, or influence, then it dies. I see it being that 90% of the time.
And the thing is that if that trades for a card, like they have to use a card in order to kill this, that's totally fine. Because you already
But I
got
don't
your
think they
lingering
will
influence
that
or
often
sabotage out of it.
because, like, I don't think they will that often because it'll be so easy to hit this with anything. And if you spent your turn 4 doing this, you weren't putting out like blockers that effectively protect this.
Yeah, so you need a 2-drop and a 3-drop probably, but like
I like
maybe
how-
Yeah,
the
but if I've curved 2, 3, I'd rather continue that curve.
I like how
Like-
the empower encourages you to attack, but it's such a small health that like you can't really attack
yeah,
without a
the Empowered it has
If
no text.
only
The
there
Empowered
were
doesn't do
some
anything.
Argenport unit with endurance, you know? Like,
Maybe
Well, they'll
multiple.
never make that. So.
You're absolutely right, Lights Out Ace. This goes really well with Groundwatch Trader.
whoa, it actually does.
Actually
Wait,
does,
wait,
but-
Like,
There's
not-
one thing about
no
its
lie.
Empower that could be relevant. It triggers Auric Interrogate.
That's actually a
yes.
good point too. Man, the
I'm
more we
on
talk about
board
this,
with
the
it.
better I think it is.
This
the
card's
thing,
actually
the thing
I think
Bradykin
this
just
card's
said,
really
I want to hear more of those. That was good.
All right.
More interrogator stuff.
Zende the Heartbinder. Summon, play an elf with cost 4 or less. If you have a relic, play 2 instead. Is this just DOA to bore?
This thing is terrifying in the elf deck,
Is there
honestly.
a good relic in Feln? If there's a good relic in Feln
The
and an elf
pit
Yeah,
deck,
there's
trap.
Rat Trap.
this is the elf
No,
deck.
pit trap, not rat trap.
The,
Come
el-
on.
the elf deck runs a lot of incidental relics. This is part of the reason it runs the Rat Cage. There's also the Lethray Hideaway.
Rat Cage.
That's the card before this that we
Rat.
skipped. The few times I've seen the elf deck, Zende has been the only thing about it that's scary.
Please don't play the rat cage. Oh my god. Alright. Anyway,
Okay,
this plays,
even
this
without
plays
the
3
Rat
dudes.
Cage,
Three
even without the Rat
dudes.
Cage, they do have
Yeah.
a couple.
So this is like super good reload after a turn 5 harsh rule. I buy it.
Exactly, and then it dies to the turn 6 Harsh Rule, and then they
And
get
they play
sad
a
again.
second one and then
No, but you
there's-
get 2 Lethrai Sky Striders out of it and draw 2 more cards.
Yeah. You draw
But
back
yeah,
your,
in all
your stuff.
seriousness, this is the primary reason the elf deck exists. This card's really good in that con.
Yeah, I believe it. Do you
All
think tokens are constructed playable? I'm
So I
leaning
thought
no.
they sucked, and then I realized that they were just Seek powers.
Yeah, but we have better Seek powers. Next
Right.
card.
So I still don't think that they're constructed playable, but I think that absolute railing I gave probably Bradykin, who wanted to play these, might have been
When
slightly
did I want to
unjustified.
play these? I didn't say
am
that.
playing them.
Somebody
I
in our
never wanted to
internal
play.
chat wanted to play them, and I told them they were like so much worse than Crest. Like we have good cards.
It's probably
Don't
me,
play these.
but
They're still bad.
All right, how
but they're
about
less bad.
instead you
these
play
are a lot
these?
weaker than like
Cargos.
Seeks or Cargos.
These are so
Yeah, like-
absurd. These are obviously
Cargos
the
are
best
best.
card in the set. I don't even think it's close. They're so crazy.
although we are skipping 2 other cards, but whatever, it's
What?
fine.
This is
So-
literally
Never
the
mind,
next
we're not.
card.
It's the
Sir-
I thought you were looking at token of Nick.
So Genev cargo, like cargos are good, but there's some decks that are gonna want Seeks anyways if they like are high on the curve, maybe.
I'm
I'm
just
not
gonna be
sure.
all about
We
4
may just
faction decks with
adjust
8
our,
cargos. I don't give a fuck.
I think you always play the first 4 cargos, and then you can play Seek powers.
Yeah. I
Like,
think you may
like-
just play more power in those kinds of decks, like more actual power.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that the general
Seek
split will be like
perfect.
27 power, 4 cargo, 4 seek or something.
But the fact that you can drop
I think
Seeks
2
and play
Seek is fine.
cargos instead is like such a huge draw to 3 faction. It's nuts.
Yeah, you can play 35 power. You can play 40 power. You can't flood. Like these cards are insane.
You can also not flood by playing 25 power.
Yeah, but then you can't play like 6 drops, which these decks probably want to do.
Man, I'm looking at Carnivorous Sauropod, and boy, is that a harsh reality.
Okay,
This
that
guy's eating
that
himself.
amplify is permanent, but
Yeah,
the card is still just
but
for
unplayable.
draft.
We gotta pay 7 for it.
But look at that art.
It's brutal.
Like, this guy's just looking over at you. He's like, you're next.
This card is almost as brutal as Fear Made Flesh.
I mean, that card's pretty brutal because it's bad.
All right.
All right.
Display of Instinct. Now here's a cycle. I think this is the best one too.
This card's the nuts.
3 FTP, fast spell. Choose
This card
one.
kills
Deal
every
4
set.
damage. Negate a spell. Put one of your units in your hand and gain its health.
I mean,
As someone who's played with this
it kills sites.
a bunch,
Yeah.
it does hit sites. This
Yeah.
card is really good. It's not a 4 of. It can get stuck in your hand.
Well, yes, it says put one of your units, and you don't play any units.
Well,
I mean, that's like a nice
yes.
extra mode on a good, like, deal 4 and negate spells are both great, and then, like, having health gain as a third mode, so you just, like, have health gain in your main deck is so good.
I mean,
yeah, like this card is really good, but I think it's a 3 of, not a 4 of. I think with 4 of, you're too likely to draw 3 of them and not find places to use them. That happened more times than I was comfortable.
Are there decks that don't have any 4 health units and don't play spells and don't
I
play
mean,
removal?
just point it at their face.
Yeah, if you draw 3 of them, they're just dead.
I mean, you will find targets to use it. You might not find targets to use multiple ones.
This is like playing the old Jeskai control with Lightning Bolt and Lightning Helix, and it's like, oh, my opponent didn't draw any units for me to kill, and I drew 6 of these. Guess I'll have to
Guess
kill
I
my
got a-
opponent.
Yeah. Oh man, how unlucky. Bolt, Snapcaster, Bolt.
Okay, Zalchi
Anyways,
Herald
this
of
one-
War.
It is really good. I think it's the second strongest, not the strongest.
So this is a 7 cost FTP, doubles of each, 7/5 charge. Entomb, play 2 4/4 Ruin Stalkers with flying, which are just 4/4 flyers.
Least buff 7/5 in the game. Because holy, that guy looks like a twig.
He's very skinny. Yeah.
But he's got 2 swords, and he's the goddamn Herald of War. So
If I was a Herald of War, that's what I would look like.
Yeah, this is basically
ponytail
me.
and goatee.
I have the same hairstyle. I'm about this build. This is me.
Are you also the Herald of War, Lights Out Ace?
Not yet, but I'll get there.
Are you just a Ruin Stalker?
I think this card can like replace moments in FTP moments, so you don't have to play shitty spells like Trailblaze. You can play units like, I don't know, Sandstorm Titan or something instead.
Is this just a hard Mistborn reference? Or like Sanderson reference? Because like his one series has Heralds, including a Herald of War, and then Rune Stalkers are like Mist Stalkers.
I mean, I'd
think
appreciate
so.
if it was. Sanderson is the greatest writer alive.
I don't know where Zalchi came from though. Like the name.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that card is good. What do you guys think? Just thumbs up or thumbs down from each of you.
I think it's reasonable. I don't know why you want to be FTP ever.
Yeah, that's kind of my feeling too. The card's not bad, but it's not fantastic. It's not a reason to be these colors.
Dies
If
the
you,
display
like-
of ambition.
I mean, sure. But like, there might be more validity to this color set now that we've had a tricolor set that is supporting it some. Although when I was poking that idea with a stick a little bit, I wasn't seeing anything initially.
All right, let's go to the next display of honor, the FJP display. So it has give one of your units +4/+4 in lifesteal, insane trick. Draw 2 weapons from your void, insane smuggler's stash, and transform an enemy unit into a 2/1 goat, which is the weirdest display of honor that I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Listen. There is nothing more honorable than a goat. I mean, the card's great. I don't know.
It's
really
great,
deck
but
wants
it's
all
also
3
pretty
modes.
awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got removal, it's got combat trick, it's got card advantage. Like if you're playing some deck with probably more than just 4 rune hammers, I think you need like a 5th and 6th relic weapon. But
This is how Skycrag beats Sandstorm Titan.
So, well, they're
Flash
pushing.
Justice to play this.
So they're pushing Fire Justice Primal as like the Renown color combination. So, and this kind of helps with deals with 2 of them or 2 of the modes kind of help with that, right? So
Yeah.
so the +4/+4 triggers Renown, draw 2 weapons because you put weapons on the units that Renown did earlier, so you have to draw them back.
and lifesteal, yeah, that's a good way to sugar it now. Like huge lifesteal hit. But I mean, like playing it as the 4/4 lifesteal is kind of like not hoof slash, saddle up, which has cards I'm not a fan of. But I think lifesteal does make it a playable, like even good trick. So I think this card is good. Probably like a 2 or 3 of in FJP control armory type decks.
I think you really have to
I
want to
think
be
it's
drawing
2,
weapons.
not 3.
Otherwise, this card's like pretty like not better than other options. Maybe turning things into goats is great, and I'm underestimating that. as like a fast polymorph type thing, because that's also a combat trick if you want to. You know, they just block
Ooh.
and then you change it. But I think
Well,
you
I
definitely
think
got to be
+4/+4
other
there.
than Hoof Slash as your primary. Like if your primary plan is Hoof Slashing, you have better cards to play.
Yeah, for sure. But like, if you're just like playing it to get back weapons, and you just like incidentally gain 8 off your Throne Warden, like that's kind of sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will say, I think this is the weakest of the displays simply because of how awkward it is. It doesn't have like a default widely applicable mode for the most part.
That's fair.
It's just kind of strange.
Yeah.
You can always go goat.
All right. Well, let's go to the card that aReNGee didn't know existed. Quinn Lone Wanderer. You pay 6, you get a 7/7 with summon draw card, and then when one of your units becomes renowned, you draw Quinn from your void. So this is a recursive 2-for-1 that's also giant and must answer. This card is incredible.
Is it a man or a woman?
We just need to find some renowns. I think it's a woman.
We don't ask those questions.
But I don't know.
I just want to know what sort of voice line I should expect.
Oh, that's true. We can use the voice line to determine. But this card seems insane, and just finding a couple renowned cards to put in your deck is the only thing holding it back from being ridiculous. I think this card is going to see a ton of play.
There was this 6-cost 6/6 that drew a card when you played it that was pretty good.
Wait, what was that?
It was Heart of the Vault.
Oh.
It's kind of good.
That one.
So bringing it back, not bad. Just depends on what things you have with Renown.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I was looking at, like, Ania and, like, that Rakano 2-drop. Like, there's got to be some renowned cards that aren't embarrassing to play. Because, like, this card's just so fucking strong that I want to go out of my way to enable it.
I think that Rakano 2-drop's pretty embarrassing to play, to be honest. But
I'm not nearly as high on this card as Loa is. Like, I think it's the kind of card that if you were already going to run a couple renown cards, you would run this also, but I don't think it's strong enough to make you justify running other weak cards.
I'm just not sure how much of an engine it is in a world where there's stuff like Permafrost and Feeding Time that just get around its recursion.
But you drew a card.
Yeah, well, you probably play that like protect type card to activate Renown. Like, I don't know which one, but like some protect variant.
Yeah, maybe. So I think this is certainly doable, but I'm not sure that this sort of like this kind of inevitability like pales in comparisons to Martyr's Cross or Sarlacc Pit or whatever.
That's true,
So.
But it doesn't die to boar.
It
#
does not
nerf boar.
Maybe this is your backup plan for when your cross goes down.
Yeah, I mean that could be her cross to bear, just to be a backup for.
Or maybe you just play this in Knucklebones and then you get it back with Knucklebones Renown cards.
Oh my god, this is the best strategy I've ever heard in my life.
I think it's a lot of fun, and I think it's probably fine. But be wary of 6-mana 7/7 vanillas, because that's what this is in play.
But it draws a card. It's like so much better than Mystic Ascendant.
I would agree with you if Mystic Ascendant wasn't teaming up with Telut to draw like 4 cards a turn.
Yeah, Telut is dead now. It dies to
fall short.
Fall short, yeah.
Oh no.
So does this. So does this.
All right, Display of Ambition, 3 FJS. Now, for my take, this is the weakest display. So
what?
Your units get +1 strength and overwhelm.
This is middle of the display. For
let me explain. Your units get +1 strength and overwhelm. So you get an expensive light 'em up. Light 'em up is a constructed staple, as we know. Kill an enemy unit with 5 health or more, so you get a bad downfall. As we all know, downfall is a constructed staple. And draw 2 units from your void and take 2 damage, which is admittedly great, but is a very late game, takes a lot of setup card. Like, you're never going to play this turn 3. It's always going to be played turn 6 or later.
I mean, this is a 2-of that's either, alright, I need more gas, or, man, I really want to kill this random threat.
I will say it's insane in 5 stages of Destiny, but I don't think decks outside of 5 stages of Destiny will play this card and be happy.
Alright, I don't know what you're talking about, but I assume you mean Caiaphas.
No, it's the, like, Piercing Grief, Oathbook, Million Dark Returns deck.
That sounds horrendous.
I mean,
I
it's
think
okay.
this very easily is a 2-of card in traditional FJS control.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just removal spell / guard advantage split card.
And like honestly, the first mode isn't irrelevant. The existence of a card that can give that first mode means that you have the option of lethal in a lot of scenarios where you wouldn't usually. Like, it's the least relevant part, but it's not never coming up.
You were complaining that Tavrod was blockable? Well, not with Overwhelm.
Like, this card is the middle of the ground display for me. I think it's the 3rd strongest.
Really?
I think it's quite good, but it's never going to be a card you run a ton of. I think it's a 2.
I just think it's so easy to have situations where none of the 3 modes are playable or good.
Yes, it is. But that's okay.
All right, moving on.
That's when you merchant it away. That's why it's a 2 of.
How about our FJS 7 cost 6 influencer, Brel Solist Apostate. I don't know what apostate is, but somebody
wait.
can hopefully enlighten
Give
me.
your current relic weapon +4/+4 in Warcry 2? I'm
Yes. So it's a 4/5 with Warcry 2. Summon, play a 4/4 relic weapon with Warcry 2, or give your current weapon +4/+4 Warcry 2. So it won't overwrite a weapon. It'll just buff it huge with Brel's
That is
mallet.
pretty dirty with a Molten Fist in play.
Man, is this what Ikaria died for? We're supposed to play this now?
Probably. I mean, is it
not
worse?
good.
Like this is this is another guaranteed 2-for-1. Like
This card is much worse than Ikaria. It was
sure.
on 7.
I agree with
I
that.
mean, it charges in for 4 and Warcry 2. That's basically the same thing. And then if they have Harsh Rule Vanquish or whatever, instead of you having nothing, you still got a 4/4 Warcry 2 relic weapon.
So it's fine because it either plays a relic weapon with itself or just goes absolutely nuts if you have one in play. It's a paladin, I guess. Is this a giant?
Okay, so Chad is letting me know. Apostate is someone who gave up their religion. So Brel renounced the Solists and is now going on her own.
Wait, but she's a paladin. Aren't paladins religious?
She's a Oathbreaker paladin. That's a thing, right?
Yeah, I mean it is. We got a card Oathbreaker. Is it?
That's literally a card. Yeah.
So I think it's okay, but like I'm not excited to play this to slam this in FJS immediately.
Dude, this makes a dice show big enough for Rekenner. Remember
If
that
your
quote? I
dice-
can't even
if
get up
your
for
dice
anything less than an
show
8/8 dice show.
survived
This
in
makes
order
an
to get
8/8 dice show.
4/4 in Warcry, you're already doing okay.
All right, this is a card that's gonna get Rekenner back into Eternal. I'm calling it now.
There we go. I mean, Unearthly already got back into Eternal with this set. So
Oh my god, we're coming back. This set is nuts.
this set is nuts.
Okay, so yay or nay? Vote. I vote yay.
On Brel,
I vote medium.
nay.
I don't think it'll see play, but it's okay.
I like Show the Dragon better.
Okay.
I hate Show. I hate that name. That name is so bad.
So let's go to Display of Vision, the TJS display. So enemy units get -1/-1 this turn, or play a power card of your choice in your deck. No any power, so you can get like Crests or Waystones, or kill an attachment on an enemy.
This is super unfair because it destroys attachments, which Bradykin doesn't think should be possible.
Hey, destroying attachments is fine. Destroying all attachments is not fair.
But you never complain about
Passive
passive.
Defiance.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's later, and I have more time to plan for that, and it's at least blocked by 8.
Yes, I too want my opponents to play later cards when I'm trying to play 9-drop relic.
So this is one like the FJS display where you can have a situation where all 3 modes are bad, but it's much more unlikely
But then
because
you just
playing
go
a
get a
power
crest.
is like, yeah, just getting
Play
a crest
power
is
is
good. That's
never
a very
bad.
good
I mean,
default
it's-
mode.
Yeah, it's a fine
But
default.
you should only play this card if you're planning to play it to get a power on turn 3 every game, and just randomly kill an attachment or kill enemy units if
Or
comes up.
you play it turn 4 to buff Bleak Basin Guide, which is the card
I
right
mean,
before it.
Bleak Blazing Guide dies to your opponent's display of vision, so it's just not a playable card.
Well,
I
that
have
seems
2
like
of
an
them
unfair
off of
assessment.
2 packs.
Wow, this owl is enormous. This person doesn't even like come up to their belly button. Do owls have belly? I guess owls don't have belly buttons, but you know what I mean.
You know, most owls weren't born from a mammal, but
I actually am intrigued by Bleak Basin Guide, though. Like, I empower +3/+3 on a flyer is pretty nuts.
I think this is better done by Silverwing Familiar plus playable weapon.
I don't know. That's 2 cards. But
I mean,
I don't know. I feel like the Empower deck is going to end up wanting the straight Combray and doesn't want the Shadow, but I am kind of intrigued by the idea.
All right, so what about the newest Minotaur, Grinva, Breaker of Will, the
Wait,
TJS legend
don't
for
we already
6.
have a Grinva?
Yeah, this is a new Grinva with endurance and lifesteal, and empower
So-
play a cowardice.
The next unit that they picked to get 2 copies of was Grinva. All right.
Yeah.
Dude, she's on a rampage. Look at her.
She is pretty
She's
nuts.
pissed about something.
And we were talking about that Justice unit that had endurance, if it had lifesteal. Well, this one has lifesteal.
Yeah, but this one dies to slay, so it's terrible.
But you can empower to play cowardices.
I think this card is a massive threat. Like 6/6 endurance lifesteal is obviously good, and like playing cowardice is cool, but it just gives no
Alright,
value
wait a
against
minute.
removal and
Is
cost
this better
6.
than Champion of Mystery?
No, I don't think it sees play.
Well, this would be the top end to the hypothetical Bleak Basin Guide, TJS Empower deck.
Wait, why would this be the top end?
You
Because
Trying to kill them way before
make
6.
your opponents cowards.
Because then they can't block.
That seems terrible, though.
This seems so bad. Like, I think you might win games just because your like hyper aggro deck plays a 6/6 for 6, and they're like, wait a minute, what happened? Like when Tokens was playing Heart of the Vault.
I mean, Token still does play Heart of the Vault.
I think they still do play Heart of the Vault.
I think the best part of this
people are now
card,
prepared for that. Like, it's not a surprise anymore.
the best part is you can fetch it off Tavrod, and that's cool. But like, I don't know why it's in your deck.
That might be good. Like, they run out of slays eventually.
I mean, is it better than like one of the
Minotaur
million
deck-
other Minotaurs you can play though?
If there's a Minotaur deck, maybe this makes it.
I'm not a believer. I'm gonna vote
Like,
nay.
it's not unplayable to just slam a 6/6 endurance.
Wait, hold on. If you're gonna pay 6 in these colors, Sword of Unity sounds better.
I mean,
Yeah.
play a Sword of Unity on this.
I mean,
then
that
it
does
says
sound
double
good.
Sort of Unity with Tavrod sounds pretty good to me.
That is
that
a
was already
combo.
a thing, though.
I'd rather draw Sword of Unity with Tavrod than this.
I mean, you can draw
Yeah, I
both.
would say
Tavrod grabs
that's
both.
my point. Yeah, you could draw both, but yeah, I would rather hit a sword.
I think it's okay. Like, bad, but okay.
All right, let's talk about Display of Knowledge, the TPS display. It has put an attacking enemy unit on the bottom of their deck, or draw a relic from your deck, or give one of your units +2 strength and quick draw. Note is permanent.
Speaking of cards that do 3 different things, how is this Bradykin's not favorite card? It tutors.
It's very up there. I love this card. I think it is the strongest display.
I'm definitely going to use this to
It's the
tutor
main
dump.
reason that I was trying to go so many colors in my control deck, because I wanted to run this, and I wanted Display of Instinct, and I wanted Heart.
Yeah, this card goes in taking a dump for sure.
Man, are
This
you just
card
going
is-
to keep
this
iterating
card's
on names
really
for
good.
that until somebody laughs?
Yeah,
What?
Tutor Relic.
That's the name of the
is
deck?
good. Yeah, putting attacking unit on the bottom is basically the same as killing it, except they don't even get like recursion effects.
Yep.
Like, yeah, I mean, I think it's a really, really, really good display.
Yeah, this card
And
is,
I mean-
is strong. Lots of strong modes.
At some point, you're accidentally going to play like a control unit, like a Harbinger or something, and it's going to get into creature combat, and you're going to give it quick draw and win a combat, and your
dog.
opponent is going to be mad.
It's cute.
That's Bradykin's dog.
Like a
Her name
baby.
is Hazel.
All right, Tumbling Sloth. 3/4 ambush sometimes.
Yes, I
Do
want
you think
to.
that makes it?
Okay, this might get cutest art of the set. This might be the Oblivia bot.
Really? My sister thinks sloths are terrifying.
Well, this one's dropping out of a tree to kill you, so yes.
That makes sense.
Dude, this is like
You
not
know-
better than Iron though, so like it's never gonna see play.
Unit type sloth, brilliant. I love how it's a sloth with ambush. That's so. like,
Only if you
anti
have a
itself.
relic. All right. Does
All right.
Talir's Unwinding do anything?
So TPS got shafted. They didn't get a unit. They got this piece of garbage. Talir's Unwinding. Voidbound. Sacrifice a unit. Why'd they need the safety valve? To shuffle each player's hand and void into their deck. Each player draws 7 cards. Like, maybe if you're playing like 5-faction End of Days New Tomorrow ramp, like you play this, but like you play Ancient of the Ice Caves Ultimate that sacrifice Ancient of the Ice Caves to this.
How does this win you any game?
But I don't think it's good.
Like, what does this do?
Of course not. But think of the fun. I don't
I
know
mean,
what. the fun
Pojo's
is.
going to play this card to play more copies of the Waystones. And
Oh, of course.
Oh yeah, it goes well with the Invoke the Waystones for sure.
yeah,
I
it
don't know.
draws cards after you've played all your power with a New Tomorrow.
I think this card is unplayable, but it's got cool art.
It's completely unplayable.
I don't see how this card
It's
could
one of
not
my
be
new
good.
favorite
There's no
deck
real way to make
arts,
this
but-
card good.
Ooh, this is a deck art? That's dope.
Yeah,
I
it
do
is.
This is
like
like
that
one of the
deck
feature arts of the set, right?
Oh, I should look at some of the.
I
new
think it
deck
was a
art.
background.
All right.
Anyways, Bannerman, I just want to point out that this is one of the best commons in the set, and you should draft it more than you think you should, like over most anything. Card is nutty.
Man, this,
Nutty.
apparently, Rangers were too strong for Constructed, so we needed to rotate them and get this instead.
Alright, and I guess that's the end of the constructed cards.
Dude, Iron Hook is basically life drinker most of the time.
So I guess to wrap up, let's just get everyone's like favorite card, like card you're most excited to brew with. Like we know already that Bradykin's is Martyr's Chains.
Yep.
But what about you, RNG?
Now, I didn't see any of the fire cards, but there was a card that said double damage and was a relic weapon, and boy, am I playing with Bladerang.
Okay. And SkeeJay, are you also in fire? Is your favorite card fire as well?
Yeah, I think I think Show is my favorite card, my most excited card.
Yeah, that card, I too am excited. The card that I'm gonna brew with first is definitely Dumping Ground. I don't know if it's my favorite card, but it's got like the best name.
It's got your favorite name. That's
yeah. It's such a great name.
Man, Ashen Snake Pit is so much worse than Flamestoker.
But yeah, I'm also gonna play with Martyr's Chains a lot.
Okay.
All right, so
yeah,
thanks
what
for
are
coming on.
people's general thoughts on the power level of this set, though? Is this like a strong set? Is this a weak set?
I think a
obviously
lot
the
of
set is
the
nuts because it added more merchants and contraband, but
a lot of the power in the set comes from like big power shenanigans, so like expensive units, expensive relics, and a lot of ramp. So the power level is like by default a lot higher than usual, but
I
also
think it's
a lot
off the
slower.
charts. Strongest set since set 1. Like just the contrabands and the smugglers
They are
alone.
great.
Like we didn't talk about each of them individually, so we didn't like gush for long enough about how great those cards are. But like those are unbelievably strong cards that just like redefine the game. They're so powerful.
Yeah, I think this set's very powerful, not only because it has strong cards, which it does, but because it has cards that are filling traditionally unfilled roles. A lot of the stuff in the top end is giving like a more powerful, huge top end than this game has had before. The contrabands are obviously a huge power creep on Seek Power, which, while sounds silly, is very relevant. There's a couple of very different powerful cycles. The sites added a new dynamic. I think there's a lot of power in the set overall. I think it is concentrated largely in the cycles of cards, though.
yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, there's a bunch of random legendaries, but there's also like, I don't know. I think this set turns everything on its head because it heavily incentivizes 3-color, so you're going to end up in those decks a lot, but then the 2-color merchants also bring back some vitality to mid-range decks in the 2-color faction, so we'll have to see how it ends up. But like playing Felnscar in this deck, in this meta, is going to be trolling because like you lose access to all the good 3-color things. That's the problem.
Don't forget, we also get a whole new card type to play around with. Like it's really hard to evaluate sites without playing with them some more. So I'm looking forward to doing that.
They're probably going to play pretty well, unfortunately.
Yeah, I do think the sites are going to be a lot better than I think the initial thought is.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't finish quite on time for you, SkeeJay, but I'm glad that you came on, and I had a great time. Thanks for coming on, everybody, and we'll reconvene, and I'll play some jank on stream next week. So have a wonderful weekend, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Sounds good. Thanks for inviting me.